Hi, everybody. Already you guys dropped a gift. I don't know how these work, but I got jewels. I don't know how this gift thing works, but we'll try it out. So Kiwi sent 200 jewels. Girly sent 2 jewels. Douglas, thank you for the $10. Yeah, I was trying to like set a stream. I don't know what the stream goal stuff is on YouTube. So I'm like, okay, set a stream goal because I'm trying to raise money because like guys, I am in so much pain. Oh, by the way, this heating pad is just like gonna have to stay on me. This shoulder is in so much pain because I need a new chair. My chair broke. So I bought a chair and I'm gonna figure out how to pay my bills. Otherwise, I need the chair in order to work. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna set a stream goal, and then it wanted me to like label what the reward was, and I was like, I don't know, I can't think right now. So I said dance party. Oh, thank you, Taryn. Oh my god, you look so pretty. Thank you. Oh, I was also trying to fix. Okay, I'm gonna try to figure this out. But good. Oh, we have the chat back. Okay, so like YouTube, for whatever reason, ever since that Frankie nonsense, it doesn't save the chat replay for some weird reason. And then on top of that too, what was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, right. I found a plugin to be able to like highlight people's chat messages, and I tried to install it, but then it kept crashing my OBS. I'm like, okay, I'm going to explore it some more, and I'll find one as well that we can do for that too. The stream goal thing works for Jason Hawes. Mine didn't count though, maybe because it was before it officially started. Oh, maybe. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, it probably like needed to. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sage Rat. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, Paranormal Brew, you also sent in a gift too. It like, okay, it's putting up some people's gifts. Oh, 2 jewels. I think that there's like a minimum. So if I miss anyone's jewels, because the way it like really briefly pops up. However, it pinned. Who's did it pin? Kiwi sent in 200 jewels and it pinned it at the top so I could see it. But the smaller amount of jewels aren't being pinned. So yeah, this gift sending thing is like new. So I think they're trying to copy like Twitch with bits. I think that's sort of like what their idea is. So if I miss any like jewels, I'm assuming it's probably something like under 100 doesn't pin. So if I miss any, I do apologize because it just like really briefly pops up on my screen. So I can see it in chat and I might miss it in chat. And that's going to be my best way to kind of track it. But yes, welcome everyone. Hello, y'all are here. All right, Ken. Oh my God, Ken too. I saw you try to curse the stream with Ed the Internet Demon, and then I went and thank you, Kat. Oh, for the gift. Oh, that's so cute. They're like little emotes and stuff. Oh, thank you, Taryn Paranormal Brew, for the gift as well. Thank you so much. So I went to go start this stream. And happy Pride for 628 jewels. Oh, happy Pride. Oh, that's what that one is. Oh, cute. So it like popped up on the screen and it was like live streaming isn't available right now. And I was like, what? And I'm like, God damn it. Ken was like just like saying Ed the Internet Gremlin in the chat a second ago. And I'm like, I swear to God, he broke the stream. So luckily though, it kicked in. So I was just like, what's happening? Yeah, the Pride one is really cute. I like that one. But yes, welcome everyone. I hope all your day is going well. I know I'm not seeing all your, oh God, trying to introduce everyone. You know, what I might do is like, oh, thank you, T-Bex, for the chair. You know what? I should have set the goal to $5. I think I put $10, but you know what? That's what I'll do. I don't know if I can I change it? Hold on. Let me see. Okay, $5. Okay. I'll just put dance party in here again. We'll just keep a track. We'll just keep track of, I think we've gotten like 3. I have no idea what dance party. I don't know what I'm going to do for that. Okay. Like I literally just could not think of anything. I'm not good at dancing. I don't know what to say. But like, I have a cute dress on. Hold on, I don't want to flash you guys, but look, it's like pink, and then like the bottom of it has this design. It goes like all the way down to the ground. But I'm like, I saw this dress and I tried it on. I'm like, ooh, I like the way that it like hugs, has like a empire waist. And so I bought this like a month ago, maybe two, and I haven't worn it yet. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to wear this today. But then I was like, I don't have any like pink, like something pink to like go over. I have like white and I put it on. It didn't like look very good. And then I have like hot pink and that did not look good. So the black looked the best to have like an over thing. Please flash us. Yeah. You might use Social Stream Ninja that highlights chats. Okay, I'll take a look at yours because I found a plugin that was for Streamlabs. Was it Streamlabs? Something like that. Streamlabs or Stream Elements, one of them had a plugin, and I tried using it, and then it kept crashing. So I was like, ugh, okay. So I'll take a look and see about that one, and see if that one I can get it to work. So, hey, Kristen. Chair fund. Oh, thank you, Glitter. Thank you so much for the chair fund. Yeah, so I picked out a chair at first, and I was talking about it in the last stream, and I found one for like, I was saying I found one for 200. So I went to go look at it some more, and then I realized that the seat is just like a piece of wood or something, or like whatever, particle board probably, and it's just like a memory foam cushion. And I'm like, okay, I know that's gonna actually mess up my back more. It's gonna give me the sciatic issues, right? So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna put like $200 and then it's gonna just cause me more problems, then I may as well look at a bigger chair. So there was one, because I really like the chairs where the arms go sideways and it gives you like this like long chair that you can kind of like whatever. Oh, thank you, Douglas, for more chair. Thank you. So I did find one, but like it looks like the cushion might have springs in it, but it didn't say. So I was like, okay, this thing's like $300, but then I'm like, if I need to make sure that it's a real chair, like it's a real seat, because if it's just like memory foam, when you sit on that for like 8 hours, like it's nothing, right? It'll pop back up again, but like when you're sitting on it all day doing stuff, like it's gone like really quickly. So I ended up finding another chair. Is on Amazon. It has like 5K reviews. So like, and it's really good reviews. And the arms, see what actually kills me a lot is my arms. That's why my shoulder's messed up right now, because this is not ergonomic to where I'm holding my mouse and doing stuff. And this is how it was too when I worked corporate. My arms and the placement of my arms was always my issue. So, so yeah, so I found this other one, really highly rated, tons of reviews on it, and it's 300. So that one, you know, $100 more than I expected, but the arms go up and down 3 inches, like 3-inch adjustment. So I'm like, okay, that's probably good. Oh, thank you, Ken. Oh my God. Thank you, Ken. $4.99, $49, whatever, $50. Hey, Queen of Karma. Thank you so much for the chair funds, guys. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I ended up finding that, for like 300, and then I'm kind of looking at it, because the thing I don't, so the only thing I don't like about like recording, like, so when I'm recording, when I'm in a chair, sometimes when I'm recording, for whatever reason, I'll like tuck my arms in and take it away from the arm rests, and then when I tuck my arms in, I go like this. So I'm like, I was trying to use a chair that doesn't have arms for recording so that I sit up straight, right? So this chair, because the armrests are adjustable, it kind of looks like I can take them off. So I'm like, if I can take them off, I can use them for recording. However, I do have a recording chair as well. It's a small one. But like this chair I bought has like a bigger back on it. But yeah, but this one, it has springs in the seat. The arms are adjustable up and down. It's like big, you know, big comfy chair. So I'm just like, okay, I think that this will work. Your work ones are like super dense foam, rubber cushions with no arms, boo. Yeah, yeah. Like, and that's like, I have like one for recording that I got like that, but I don't know why the selection is like a price tag. It's weird. Oh, it's because you're on Apple device. So anytime you see anyone like send in a super chat and it's like .99 or whatever, it's because they're on an Apple device. Oh, I realized I updated that goal and it set it to 10 instead of 5. Damn it. Okay. Well, we've already met 5, I think, if we count the other ones. I don't know what to do for a dance party. Also, hey Joan, welcome. I don't know. I don't even know. Wait, what's some God music nowadays too? What is safe to even put up? I should have thought this through. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna play with this, and I really didn't. I didn't have a plan. Hold on. Oh wait, hold on. This is cute. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Actually, wait. Can I bring it up in the browser? I might be able to. And then I could like be weird like that. There we go. Okay. You know what? I have some funny clips. I will bring them up just to muck. Ignore me. To muck around with. Let's see. Let's see. We can just look at some silly drinks. Oh my god, I have the fucking Matt Rife meme. I turned this into a GIF too, by the way. Hold on, I'll show it to you guys in a second. All right, those are some silly clips that we'll take a look at. Just like stuff that I have saved. Oh, Taryn, oh, thank you, hun. Thank you for the $10. Thank you. Go towards, well, at this point goes towards the bills that I'm not paying because I bought a chair. Cooking dinner here. We're late today. Got a couple of guinea pigs. Aw, the guinea pigs are so cute. Play the intro again. It was like Middle Eastern dance party. Yeah, I cannot remember what song that was, but yeah, I can bring it up on the thing. There's like, so I pay for like stock stuff with Canva, but then also the editing software I have, it like connects into a database of stock stuff. So I pay for stuff there. So with that though, they have some like really cool songs that are very like Middle Eastern, kind of like jams. And I'm like, I want to like use the music in a lot of places, but it just doesn't really suit what we're talking about. So I think that's why I added it to my stream intro, because there's a few of them that are like really good bops. Yeah. All right, we'll take a look at that. Because yeah, we're going to, oh, my mic just peaked real bad. I saw that. I'm sorry. Let me know if anything was super bad with that. Oh, I also set up like an EQ. I don't know. I was trying to play with my mic audio again, and NVIDIA has this software, and I installed it, and then my mic sounded like real nice. Okay, it feels like it's like really loud. Hold on. I'm going to actually turn it down. I think maybe it's just turned up too high. Okay. Test. It's going into the red a lot, so that's why I'm kind of like, ugh. But when I was putting like a limiter on it, so like, I'm a type of person that there is some music on Canva, yeah, but I mainly use the music in my software, my editing software. But yeah, there's music and sound effects on Canva that you can use as well. I pay for it, so I'm not sure what's free and what's not free, because I've been paying for Canva for like ever. Yeah, my lip got better. Well, let's see. I thought the lip was better already to begin with that day, but then okay, I'm lowering it down just because I'm seeing it peak in my thingy, my OBS thingy. But let me know if it's too quiet. See, now it looks too quiet. Hold on. So yeah, the other day, okay, it's going into the red a bit, but I think it's probably okay. But let me know if it's peaking or being weird with my audio. Yeah, I've been using Canva for like a really long time, even before, like, because I had a business and I was using Canva because I wanted to show, I was teaching business owners how to do stuff affordably on their own, like small business owners who just don't have the funds to pay for someone constantly to help them. So I was using Canva so that I could then create stuff and then, you know, show them how to create it. And honestly, it was just faster than Photoshop. Like, I just found it like, it was better before the sound, that is. Yeah, it showed that I was peaking a lot though, so I'm like a little bit concerned about that. But here, I'll set it to here. Instead, it was, hold on. Okay, it was set at like 400% or, +3 decibels, so, or +4, so I set it +3. Yeah, I use it for thumbnails. Yeah, I use it for thumbnails too, right? So, but you can also edit video in there. Like, apparently Seg, he uses Canva to make all of his videos. And yeah, you can edit in there, and there's an app that you can download, but I just find it too like slow for editing. But yeah, there's volume controls in YouTube, but I know my mic is low, like on it regularly is low. Okay, I'm seeing it peak a lot, so I'm being paranoid. I'm just gonna go down to, it's down to 3 decibels, it's 2.5. I've noticed you use a few pieces of music I had on Canva. They're using all AI music now. Yeah, so that's the thing. I don't really use the music on Canva because I just I ran into some issues with it in the past where it was like claiming it or saying that it was copyright even though I purchased it. And like with Canva, a lot of times that happens. And then I have to put in like a dispute, and then it takes like freaking 20 days for them to get it sorted. So I was like, I really try to avoid using music and stuff from Canva. Once in a while I will get this happen with a video from Canva, but it's more rare. So the editing software I use, they have a bunch of music, and they have licenses for those songs that always get claimed on Canva. They don't have a proper licensing system. So the editing software I use has one. So then I can download a license for my video, and then I don't run into these problems. So, and also they have like more music, and like it's more funner, better music. So. I use Premiere Pro. That's the thing. I used to be an Adobe person. I was for a long time, and I started using Canva because it was quick and easy compared to Photoshop. And I was just like, okay. And then they have so much stock media, so I was like, well, I'm just going to pay for that instead of paying, because back in the day, I mean, I was paying for Adobe stock media, and that was expensive, man. So Canva was like much cheaper. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to use Canva, and then I would edit my videos with Premiere. That was always what I used. Premiere Pro or whatever back in the day. And then I had like, this was when you could buy the software, and that's what I did. And then I like lost my license and I couldn't re-download and stuff, and then it wanted me to like pay for the cloud, the Adobe cloud stuff, and I'm like, this stuff is so expensive. So you're a technology dinosaur. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I went to school for tech too, so sometimes I like talk about stuff that I forget people don't like know about too. So just excuse me when I do that, because sometimes I do geek out. Actually, and that's a video that I have to redo because I lost it because freaking Windows corrupted on me. But I have the MLM and business cults video. That's going to be the next cult video, and I want to cover the story of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, like the beginning of Silicon Valley. So we're going to be talking about that in the video. So it's going to be fun. I do recommend watching the video Pirates or movie Pirates of Silicon Valley. It's actually really good. It's very accurate too. Also ignore this. I know it's broken. I need a new one. I do have one picked out. I can't afford it. I know KK was like, tell me if you can't afford it. And I just feel bad. So I haven't been. Okay, hold on. Is my face facing the right way if I look? No, it's not. Okay, hold on. Just so I don't look weird. We're going to do that. Okay. I feel like, hold on. Let's crop it a little bit. Crop. Croppity crop. I mean, like, I could do the green screen thing too, but I don't know if it'll be wonky on either side. I mean, we could do the green screen. But hold on, let me see. What is that? That is, okay, that's that side. No, okay, 0. Okay, let's do this. All right, this is like cropping it down. Okay, top. I'll just like crop it down so that I can make myself bigger on screen, but also I can do the green screen, whatever thing here. Let me also add this as an option. We will do background removal. Okay. Oh, see, it's like registering this because it's the same color as my walls. So that's the only thing. Let's see. Oh wait, quality higher. Chair. Okay, it's an option if I'm big and annoying and like in the way. For now, you know what, I'm just gonna do this so there's less flicker. We'll just not do the background remover thing right now. Okay, we got chat box up here. If it's annoying, okay, we will deal with that. Chat box should work. If it's not working, then it's being weird. Oh my gosh. Chat box, hello. Can you refresh, please? Sorry, I will look at your guys' chat in a minute here. I'm just trying to get it fixed. Why is the chat box not working? Okay, the chat box isn't working. There we go. Okay, now it's working. All right, perfect. I just want to like position it. Okay. Should I put it above my head? Or should I put it like, you know what? I'm going to end up spending too much time on this. Let's move on. Okay. I would say nope, back the other way. Is it hiding behind your picture? Wait, what? Oh, chat box. Oh, never mind. You were trying to help me. Yeah, okay. Okay. Watching in amazement. Yeah. All right. We could take a look at the, yeah, this is the intro music. Oh, geez. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I have it muted over here. How do I fix the freaking controls? Sir? Hello? Are we on light mode or dark mode here? We're on light mode. I can't tell. Okay, you know what? This will be a good test for the audio. Oh, that's not loud. Jesus. I don't see an audio thing. Please stop. You guys hear it? Yeah, it's Ken's fault, yeah. Please stop. Please stop. I had some other fun songs. Really? Please stop. Please stop. I'll have to find some other ones. I'll pull some other ones together and just like we'll create like a little like playlist or something for you guys. Songs that I would love to use on my videos, but just like haven't really been using them because they're like, I don't know, they don't really like suit the thing, but there are some really good ones. Okay. This is the Matt Rife clip, the Mocha clip. I turned this into a GIF and I put it in my Discord too.
Just get your ass over to Skyjacks, okay?
Fine.
My mocha! My mocha! My mocha!
That's about right for him. Okay, what other clips we got? I got this one.
Martin, how do you know he isn't just making stuff up?
Lucy Harris, smart, 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 smart.
Yeah. Hold on. This is like not connected. Connect. Hello.
Martin,
Hey,
how
Laura.
do you know he isn't just making stuff up?
Lucy Harris, smart, smart, smart.
There we go.
Smart, 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 smart.
Okay, now I can hear. Just the one ear was working.
You see? You believe it now?
Well, yeah, sure. Why would he make that up?
Dum, 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 dum.
I love that one. And then my favorite show, Archer.
Jazz hands.
I gotta do some more Archer clips. It was funny. My mocha! For any of you who were in the Matt Rife stream, there was just a movie. He's in so many bad movies. I mean, he's not really a good actor, I don't think, but yeah, there's like a movie and he's like playing this rich kid and he's like talking to this guy's like, come meet me here, da, da, da. And then like he's screaming for his mocha like a normal rich person, little rich brat. Okay, so our plan for today, what we're going to do, because Ken actually shared this with me and I put it in the description of my live stream. So today, here, let me see if I can find where I wrote it down so I don't have to bring all this other crap up. Where's it? So Ken shared this because okay, hold on. All right, so first of all, oh god, this stupid shoulder. Did I change my hair? I put the like fuchsia, there's like fuchsia in it, and I did that like a few months ago. So I've been sort of like one of my favorite shows is Archer, but yeah, I love Archer. I've been sort of like growing it out, but then I put some more black back in it because I'm like, there's too much red. So I'm like, I'm trying to kind of, it's supposed to be fuchsia actually. Hey, Dust, Taco Tuesday. Yeah, I don't have anything for tacos. I have to like make my own because you cannot get good tacos in my city. But yeah, so I'm sort of like wanting it to be kind of, I don't know, like I'm gonna kind of like an ombre thing, and I kind of want to have like, I still want to have like more black in the back, and I want to have like black ends still, but then like I want to have like the fuchsia kind of like ombre in, but I don't know. I'm like growing it out. I'm using the growing of it out as like a way to kind of like add design to my hair. I don't know. Anyway, I've done this before in the past, so I just keep kind of adding in some more black streaks, but I think what I want to do is I want to put black like in the face framing because my eyebrows look really weird when they're black and then my hair is like red, so I want to put more black here and then you put like have like the more fuchsia on the sides, and that's sort of the plan. I'll get extremely sick if I have tacos. Yeah, I know. Well, and that's the thing. I don't normally get sick with tacos, but man, that burger the other night. So, oh my God. So, yeah, it was the other night. Dust ate tacos and I ate a burger and we were both like super sick and we were hanging out in voice chat. And we were talking about being sick. And then was Ko sick too? I feel like Ko was hungover or something. Anyway, so we were hanging out all night. Of course, didn't get to sleep. And then like Joan pops in the morning and she's like, go to bed. And we're like, I think Dust is like, blame Ko. And she's like, you can't blame Ko for all your problems. And then what was it? I can't remember what it was, but we were like, well, we've been sick all night. And we were like, anyways, it was really funny. So we just have this running gag about we have like a little sleepover crew. Hey, Leanne. Made it. Oh, hey, KK. Oh, God. My freaking shoulder, guys. The pain. Okay, so yeah, to introduce this again, because I know I'm getting sidetracked. So I've mentioned Milo a few times in some of my other videos too, and his channel is Mini Minuteman. This is him here. He's actually he's got an archaeology degree. He is an archaeologist. He calls himself like a Google debunker, has fun with it. Everyone who follows, like everyone who's in the Mini Minuteman team are Google debunkers. He's environmental scientist as well. I think he's got a degree in that too. So he's very like, you know, well trained and everything. And he goes out and he does a lot of stuff to investigate archaeological claims, you know, just whatever. He does do a ton of debunking of all the archaeology slop and conspiracy theories and other things like that, right? So lots of stuff. See, he talked about ancient aliens. He's funny too. He has fun with it. He's funny, very smart. He gives like really good information. And he's open to, like he did, what was it? I think this one here. It was either this video or this one. It might be the Pompeii one. But there was an archaeologist who was like, oh, you got this wrong, actually. And they did a video. And then he did a follow-up. Or he did, I think, a short or something to follow. He does a lot of shorts because a lot of the archaeology slop is on like Instagram Reels and TikTok. So he does a lot of shorts as well to kind of combat them. So, but anyway, he was like really open to hearing about issues and everything that he had. Also, yeah, like for some reason this video got demonetized. It was really weird. So, YouTube is just like something right now. Yeah, and he drinks while he's presenting. That is his thing. He's been building his studio for like 3 years now. He's always in the middle of a construction site. It's so funny. Yeah, anyway, he has fun. He does like do a lot of speaking engagements and things like that. There's archaeology slop. You're joking, right, Vic? I'm assuming you're joking. Okay, so I talk about him in a number of my videos because all this stuff does link back into the paranormal. Like there's crossover with archaeology, there's crossover with conspiracy theories, there's crossover with true crime. And that's sort of why like I'm kind of reviewing everything, right? Because there is crossover with all these things. It's all woo-woo adjacent or woo-woo stuff, right? Every video there's some part of his building missing. Yeah. It's silly. You only watch deep dives and video game deep dives? Oh, well, yeah, there's a lot of archaeology slop. It's like there's a bunch of people that are like we have a paranormal debunking community. There's an archaeology debunking community. He's part of it because there's so much misinformation in shorts going on. Like you can't trust any short content that tries to talk about archaeology unless it's coming from an archaeologist. At this point, just don't trust it. So I do recommend checking out. Oh, this one was kind of cool. He went through a bunch of stuff in the Reddit for alternative history, and it was really cool, really interesting. They had like reasonable people in there. Reddit actually has more reasonable people than most of social media, actually. But yeah, it was kind of fun watching his discoveries with that one. And yes, I have another account. Oh wait, actually, you know what? We should log into it so we don't have to deal with the ads. Hold on. Let me log into it so we don't have to deal with ads. Pretty much paying for this one because I watch a lot of YouTube to sleep. And if there's an ad in the middle of it, God, because I watch it on like mobile device now at this point. I watch it on like my tablet, so I can't like block ads or anything. Kristen and I sort of know one archaeologist. Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Mini Minuteman is one of the only people I trust to hear the truth. Yeah. He does his due diligence and like, you can trust things that he's saying. Yeah, the thing, well, alternative history. Okay. Yeah. All through this video, he was calling it like alt history, alternate history. Like he kept like getting the name wrong. And then the editor kept like writing the right thing underneath. It was just so funny. He had like 10 different names for this, Reddit community. So yeah, so Ken, he gave this video, he posted this, and he was saying that this story is about a shaman, and he said it's not just an interesting archaeology story, but it suggests a scientific explanation for those who are reportedly endowed with supernatural, mystic, or psychic abilities throughout history. So this stuff that he talks about here, the shaman that we're going to look at, is linked. This goes way, way back, like caveman days. And this also, it kind of explains why people believe that they have supernatural paranormal abilities. So I thought that was kind of cool. So we're going to take a look at this together. I haven't watched it yet. I just thought we would do this. It would make maybe a fun stream. We'll just kind of like live react and discuss it and just kind of like have something kind of laid back fun to kind of do during streams. So The archaeologists, you guys know, gave you a triceratops rib bone and you ugly cried. Oh, that's so funny, Kristen. I feel so uneducated. I mean, you're here, you're learning. I don't think that you're uneducated. You're finding ways to learn new things, you know? Shame you can't go to sleep but listen to your videos. Find it works all the time. Yeah, I listen to, like, the main person I listen to is Lighthouse Horror, and he reads like creepy pastas and scary stories. I like listening to like those kind of stories to fall asleep. Switching to ninja watch mode. All right, yeah, no worries, Dust. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look at him. We're gonna take a look at the volume level here. Okay, Nazis ahead. Okay, gotcha. Right, I suspect I know where this is going. Okay. How is the audio on this?
I lost my thermometer, and I also lost my wall. So today's off to a bad start.
Okay, let me know how that volume is. This is his thing. He like opens every video with working on this studio, and he's been doing this for like 3 years. Once the studio is built, I have no idea what his plan is. Audio seems okay. Okay, cool. Oh, thank you for renewing again. Hey, Julie. The discovery took place in Germany in 1934. Yeah, so like if anyone is familiar with the Nazi Party and the SS, which was like the group kind of behind all of the atrocities, behind like the movement. So if you actually go and research World War II, look into Himmler. It's Himler. So instead of a T, it's an M. Different dude, but he actually kind of was pulling a lot of the strings behind a lot of everything with the SS. Hey, Garfix, welcome. And so if you look into him, he's the one who went and did all these archaeology things. He's the one that was like digging up stuff, finding old relics, trying to say that the Germans were the like whatever master race. Like he was the one trying to prove this. He's actually the one behind a lot of the horrendous stuff that was done to the Jews. And like he's the one that was behind a lot of the experiments. He was trying to prove that essentially the Germans were like the master race and the chosen race of whatever, blah, blah, blah. I think he was also trying to link them to the Atlantis race or something too. Yeah, Himmler was a huge conspiracy nut too. So if you look into that, so Himmler was doing a lot of the archaeology and mysticism stuff. He was into the woo-woo big time. But then, so Hitler got into the occult because of Himmler, and because Himmler was also trying to say that we should do like everything we can to get the leg up. Because what if they are also praying to Satan or something, like America or whatever, you know what I mean? Like they're like, we're gonna do everything we can, we're gonna throw everything, even if that means magic and like whatever occult activities. So it's very interesting. I do recommend that you go check out Himmler as well. Himmler and Asperger too. Okay, was Asperger, is that where the name came from? I haven't heard of that one. Is he a scientist from the Nazi Party? Scientist. Oh yeah, he's from Austria. Oh, okay. Did he do stuff with the Nazi Party? That's interesting. I wasn't aware that this guy was a thing. I will have to look into him too. I didn't know anything about him. He did collaborate with the Nazis. Okay. But he claims to have shielded his patients from the Nazis, but he also collaborated with them. Interesting. Actively cooperated with them. Interesting. So he was doing, he was a medical historian. No, he's working with medical historian. Okay, I have to look into that a little bit more. I didn't know about him. He did some bad stuff. Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at him. All right. Then it's probably good that we kind of dropped the name Asperger's syndrome, which is sort of what they've done now. They're just saying like on the spectrum at this point. But crazy. So what I'm assuming then that this is going into, just based on the knowledge I have about Himmler and the Nazi Party and occultism, this is probably going into that, like probably stuff that they were digging up or things that they found. Because also Himmler and the SS would like go in and just take archaeological finds from like whatever countries they're invading or whatever, and just claim them as theirs. And they would like just they end up destroying stuff too. Like there's a lot of history was destroyed during all that too. So, which is why trying to get away from that name. With autism diagnosis stuff. Yeah, it's probably good that we do drop that name because I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, that's actually why they stopped using the term. It's probably a good idea that they stopped. Yeah, because if it's linked to Nazis, like, damn, I didn't know about that. Yeah. So we learn something new every day. So I'll actually read up some more about that. So anyway, whenever I've watched stuff on World War II, I like rarely kind of watch stuff on Hitler. And I was always watching stuff on the occult stuff because I found it fascinating that this was like a battle strategy for them to use witchcraft and occultism and different things like that. And they also followed like old world, like pagan occult practices too. And they were just kind of trying everything, right? So I found that fascinating back in the day, and that's what brought me on to Himmler, because I've always been interested in archaeology too, and he was one of the major people behind the archaeology stuff. So hard to hear Milo, especially when he mumbles. Like it's too low. I can turn him up. But yeah, that's the thing. I'm also trying to get my mic dialed in, and I'm getting annoyed with it because I mumble sometimes, or I say something under my breath and I want it to be caught by the mic, but then if I have the gate and stuff up, then it doesn't catch that, and there's a whole thing. So I tried to do the mic up as best I could. That's why I was telling the story. There's an NVIDIA tool that you can use, and it made the mic sound excellent, but then there was like a random click every few seconds, and I'm like, what is that? That's really annoying. So I just decided not to use it. They were really big into the pagan stuff. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to play it. Let's see how the audio is.
There's a boil water ban, the boil water order. I don't know why they'd ban boiling water. There's a boil water order in my town right now. So today we're going to be microplastic maxing, so we don't get giardia. That would just really add insult to my missing wall and thermometer. L plus ratio plus no wall plus no thermometer plus giardia. It's a very odd way to start a video that will be about the thing that this video is about. All right. Let's do this. It is May 4th, 1934, and a group of construction workers on the...
Okay, does he sound okay? He's better? Okay, perfect.
The banks of the Saale River in the Saxony-Anhalt region of Germany are laying pipe. They're construction workers. What else would they be doing? The pipe is to supply water to a spa that is set to open the next day. But as the workers dig their trench, they come across something strange. A large section of earth stained deep red. And as they continue to dig, their curiosity turns to horror as they discover a human skull. They had stumbled upon the remains of two individuals, an adult and a child. While at first they assumed that they'd stumbled across a murder scene, the unusual objects that accompanied the pair suggested that what they had found was something far more ancient. And while they didn't know it at the time, what they had just stumbled across was one of the richest Mesolithic graves ever discovered in Europe. But now, ripped from where they had laid for thousands of years, the pair were sent on a new journey, one that would shape the propaganda and narratives of a new rising German regime, and ultimately reveal a spectacular life story that had laid buried for nearly 10,000 years. Howdy friends, my name is Milo Rossi, and today it is my great pleasure to tell you the story of the Bad Durrenberg burial.
Okay, so that's the intro to him. Oh, thank you, Queen of Karma. I look pretty today. Oh, thank you. I don't know that I did anything differently. I tried to curl my hair, but my hair is so straight and heavy, it just didn't hold. It's gone. The curl's gone. I also don't like using too much hairspray either, so... all right, so that is a little intro of Milo. I hope that he's okay. He's kind of building like sort of a homestead, so I really hope he's not like living near an AI data center, God forbid, because he's been working on this homestead place of his forever. So it would really suck if an AI data center was why he had to boil his water. So hopefully he's all right. Hey Kel. Yeah, no worries, no worries. I know everyone everyone streams at the same time. I'm trying my best with what I have or what I can, you know, but is what it is. You know, we're all going to overlap with each other. There's a bunch of us. Not bad, but bod.
The speed at which the Bad Durrenberg burial was thrust back into the world of the living was probably a shock even for those buried within. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that construction workers accidentally discovering an archaeological site is kind of a running theme. So typically when this happens, experts are called in to do a painstaking excavation of the site so they could document it all and recover any artifacts before it's ultimately destroyed. But this video's topic, the Bad Durrenberg burial, had two things working against it. Firstly, this was 90 years ago, so needless to say, archaeological practices were a little bit different than they are today. But secondly, and much worse than that, was that the spa being built here was set to open the very next day. And so everyone involved in this project had that deadline as their ultimate priority. And because of this priority, this entire excavation was done in, get this, a single afternoon. I can barely mow my lawn in a single afternoon. How they excavated one of the richest Mesolithic graves ever discovered in Europe between, you know, noon and 5 is absolutely beyond me. So anyway, back to the pipe laying construction workers. Obviously, once they realized what they had come across, it created quite the little buzz. And so a little crowd of people began to gather around, among them a teacher from a local school. And thank God they happened to be passing by at the time because they were one of the first people to sort of recognize that this was something really significant. So they managed to convince the construction workers to stop just ripping everything out of the ground so that they could get in touch with the conservator at the nearby history museum in Halle. Halle. At the time, the conservator of the Halle Museum of Prehistory was a man named Wilhelm Henning. When the teacher contacted the museum, Henning was informed at how dire the situation was for this site, and how at that very moment, the ground around this ancient site was already littered with artifacts like shells, bones, and boar tusks. Of course, nobody had recorded anything about these artifacts before ripping them out of the ground, and so all of the context of their original layout and all the information that comes with it had been completely destroyed. Thankfully, Henning immediately went to the site to take over the excavation, and it was there he was told about the construction deadline and that he needed to be done with whatever it was he was doing by sunset. Wow, characteristically German right there. Talk about efficiency. I don't care what you are doing, Wilhelm. We need to be done by the time the sun goes down. We have the spa opening tomorrow. Sound like that guy from The Big Lebowski. We are nihilists. We will come back and we will cut off your Johnson. So because of the time crunch, Henning prioritized the removal of artifacts over the painstaking documentation of the site. Because of this, our understanding of the original site's layout is painfully limited, and is based pretty much entirely on a few hasty notes and not even a single photograph. Now, I hear what you might be thinking is, well, that doesn't sound that bad. It's definitely not ideal, but, you know, at least they recovered all the artifacts. You know, it's better than nothing. But kind of counterintuitively, it's actually the notes that are taken on an archaeological dig that are way more important than the artifacts themselves. Now, I get it. I'm not saying artifacts aren't important, obviously. I also love...
America's first White House ended up being buried by a public toilet. Really? I didn't know about this. Really? Also, I'm taking a muscle relaxant, so I do apologize if my mouth starts getting like dry and pasty sounding. It does do that to me. I wasn't aware of this toilet thing. I know that Canada burnt down the White House like 2 times during the 1812 battles and such. That's really interesting. I'll have to read up on that. Sounds very us. But I know you meant US, but yeah.
Walking into a museum and seeing all these, you know, spectacular relics. But think about it for a second. I'll give you an analogy. I'm sure you've probably watched a crime show at some point where people are like investigating a crime scene, and there are those guys in like the white suits with little booties going around placing little, you know, yellow numbers next to everything. That's honestly pretty much exactly how an archaeological dig works. Detectives at a crime scene aren't really interested in the items themselves as much as they are interested in the context that the items are found in. Finding a knife or bullet casings at a crime scene doesn't mean anything without its context. Was the knife knife in the victim's hand, or was it in the kitchen drawer? And were the shell casings on the ground or in a hunting backpack in a closet? So essentially what Henning arrived to at this excavation would be the equivalent of a detective showing up to a crime scene, and there's like 2 plumbers in there who found it first that are halfway through dragging everything out of the house and onto the street. I know I made this point in a lot of videos before, but it bears repeating that context is the most important thing in archaeology. And since even the act of a painstaking archaeological excavation is complete destruction, there should never be a single detail that goes unrecorded. So as you can imagine, even for the 1930s, Henning must have had an absolute heart attack showing up to this site. That said, for all the things working against it, Henning recorded as much as he could. And so
there was a Philly White House? Interesting. Yeah, and Taryn just recently toured the White House as well. I wasn't aware there's a Philadelphia one too. Okay. You leave me a voice note? Okay, yeah, cool, Vic. Yeah. Vic is like a historian too, so like, yeah, usually, and Vic does a lot of writing as well, so definitely check him out. I know I have some of, like, I believe they're from Beardo's Trolls, and they like left, I posted Vic's channel the other day because he did a walk through like a trail, and then he was talking about drama within the paranormal and stuff, and it was actually a really good talk. I really enjoyed it. And so then I shared it, and then one of the trolls, because I can tell it's a troll because they just made the account like a month ago, and their only comment on my channel was this, and they were like, I thought that you were all for women, and why are you sharing a man's channel and all this other stuff? And I'm like, you know, I'm not only for women, like, I'm not a man hater, and Vic has been by our side from the beginning, and he does actually fight for women. So of course I'm gonna prop up my friends. I'm gonna also prop up people who prop up women. Like, that Beardo always props us up too, right? So Philadelphia was the capital at one point. Oh really? And New York City. I do remember New York City because there's that that movie Gangs of New York or whatever, and then I actually never finished watching the movie. I watched like 20 minutes and then something happened and I just forgot to go back to it. But I remember like researching it after to understand like what actually happened, because whenever I watch like movies that are based on history, I tend to like research it after to figure out how accurate it is. I always did that too with the true crime stuff. Vic says, that's generous, thank you, I'll always be a tour guide. Yeah, but tour guides have like a lot of knowledge, and that's saying, well, Vic's a good writer too, and he's actually published some books and stuff as well, so he's a good source of knowledge for a lot of stuff. Yeah. New York City was the first capital because we were running from the creditors. Oh, really? Is that why? I just assumed that was because, wasn't that like where a lot of the boats were coming in for like imports, exports, and what do you call it? Like people coming to America. I can't think of the word. Like immigrants or whatever. I thought that's why. They decided to relocate the capital to a swamp. I do know about the swamp part. Yeah. There's nothing more American than that. True.
despite the rapid and destructive excavation, here is what we know about the burial itself. The grave itself was located on the bank of the Saale River. It was a rectangular grave about 4 3/4 feet deep, about 35 inches long and 20 inches wide, and oriented to the east-northeast. The pit was wider at the top and more narrow towards the bottom and appeared to have once been lined with a wattle mat. Inside the burial were the remains of 2 individuals, an adult and an infant. The adult was buried in a...
Okay, their editors always put like extra things here when he doesn't explain it. A wattle construction involves weaving flexible branches, rods, or strips of wood, which are wattles, around vertical stakes. So it's like a basket, kind of. A wattle panel may also be referred to as a hurdle. So I'm surprised that like it wasn't completely taken over by nature after, if it was there for that long. That's actually interesting that like a body was preserved enough for them to look at. So that's kind of cool. DC's been cleaned up. It's very pretty. Yeah, it's DC's cleaned up, but it was built on a swamp. Yeah. Yeah, Vic does a ton of writing. I've been telling him that he should start up a my fibro fog brain is hitting me. What's that stupid platform? No, it's not stupid. What's that platform that everyone's writing on? I can't remember, but he has like a medium.com profile too that you can read his stuff on. I can't remember the word now. It'll come to me later. All right.
Seated beside the burial were the remains of two individuals, an adult and an infant. The adult was buried in a seated position with their knees bent and their feet flat, and the infant's remains.
Yeah, Douglas has it. Substack. That's it.
The adult was buried in a seated position with their knees bent and their feet flat, and the infant's remains were found somewhere around their lap. The orientation of the infant is highly debated because it wasn't well recorded during the initial excavation. The soil that filled the grave and surrounded both individuals was full of red ochre. This is a mineral that's sort of like the staple classic of ancient artwork. It's been used all around the world in everything from cave art to burials. But for how common its use was in the ancient world, its use here was rather unique, as it seemed a huge amount of red ochre had been literally mixed with the soil that filled the grave back in. This is what gave the soil the strange discoloration that the construction workers had noticed in the first place. Henning notes.
Okay, so this is what gave it the red color. It wasn't completely uncommon for ancient graves to have a mixture of soil, ochre. Here's an example from one of Sweden's. Okay, interesting. That's kind of cool. I wonder why they used ochre for it, for burials. Also, welcome back, Miss Kelly. Substack, yes, I meant yeah, I was trying to remember Substack. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to keep an eye on this mic. I don't remember how I had my mic set up before. It's going to take some time to get this sorted.
This is what gave the soil the strange discoloration that the construction workers had noticed in the first place. Henning notes that many of the artifacts had been removed from their initial position in the grave by the time he arrived. And even though it was impossible for him to decipher their exact points of origin, he was still able to figure out quite a bit. The adult's head was surrounded by multiple different kinds of animal bones, including the remains.
Maybe it was a marker, yeah. Like if it dyes the land, then maybe that's why. I don't know if we can look it up, like, why? Okay, there's a lot of noise happening outside. Of course, my neighbors are like the noisiest people in the world. Why did ancient, oh my God, ancient burial plots use ochre? God, if I could spell, oh, I'm not spelling right, ochre. Oh, it had a symbolic connection to blood, life, and rebirth. Interesting. Okay, so the vibrant red hue represented a life-giving force, and the dead were being prepared for spiritual transformation. So that's why they kind of used it. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so it's red because it's rich in iron oxide. I imagine too that you can probably figure out where the burial like plot is as well. Like it's probably got like the dual purpose to it. It returns the lifeblood to the deceased or ensures their resurrection / rebirth. Okay. Also, some people have suggested that it was used practically as a preservative agent. When applied to the body, its natural drying and desiccant properties, and it's also antiseptic, may have helped manage decomposition and repel insects. Ah, so maybe that's why some of these burial plots are like easier to see. Ochre was also used to create body paint, skin treatments, a dye for clothing. Okay, that's kind of cool. I'm just hearing like whoever's outside, they're just screaming. It's very noisy here. All right, well, this is kind of neat. Okay, and also another side thing, which I learned with Joan, is that we named colors like different names in ancient society. So like what we think is blue is not what they called blue back then. So I found that interesting. So a side tangent here, this is an anthropology Reddit. They're saying that there's a study done on colors and it found that red is always the first color named in nearly all societies. So there's a distinct order of how we name colors. and blue and purple are always the last ones, where red and black are the first. And I believe, oh, they provided the study, and I believe Joan mentioned that blue and purple. She mentioned that in her video that we did together on unicorns. It's on Ladies Fright. And she was mentioning a blue, I think blue or something was always the last one named. And I found that really interesting because she's reading off descriptions that they made of animals, and they're talking about blue and purple and green and all these colors mixed together. And it's like, but that isn't what we think those colors are. It's like a totally different color back then. So I had no idea. And that's very fascinating. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. It's very interesting because this is like, these are like old, like sort of prehistoric civilizations. So obviously there's a lot of deep thought and philosophy and spiritualism that was happening back then. And a lot of people like to act like they were like dumb or something, and they really weren't. So that's very interesting. Yeah. I also want to be an archaeologist, but an adventure archaeologist like India or Nathan Drake or Nick Cage. I always wanted to be an archaeologist my whole life too. I was also really obsessed with like ancient Egypt, and yeah, I watched like Indiana Jones. I watch all those things, but I like really wanted to become an archaeologist, and I really wanted to do stuff for Middle East, not just Egypt, but like I was very interested in the Middle East because like it's the oldest kind of parts of the world outside of like, I mean, if you get into like China and Japan and stuff, that's a different story. But like, let's sort of like say the Western side. And it's like some of the oldest parts. And I found it fascinating because it's really set the entire world and humankind. But anyway, I wanted to do that. That was sort of my plan. My best friend also wanted to do archaeology. Then we met with like the counselors, the school counselors, and they pretty much told us that there's like no money in archaeology and there's no jobs in it. But it's like, well, I could have done YouTube, but we didn't know that YouTube was going to be a big thing back then. So anyway, but yeah, I found it really fascinating. My friend went and did anthropology, and she wanted to do like forensic studies and forensic crime and stuff like that, but she never ended up going into that. So the sciencey nerd history and archaeology is cool too. I mean, you'll really like Milo, honestly, Vic. You'll enjoy all of his videos. They're very good. Yeah. I wanted to be an archaeologist, but I like geography and rocks more. I really like people. Like, I like sociology and anthropology and stuff, but I really like archaeology because also I was really into like language and how we communicated and how we stored knowledge and how we passed down knowledge and stuff. So I found that very fascinating. These days, I'm a spare time adventurer. You do go out on a lot of adventures. Yeah. Y'all are smart. Everyone here is smart. I mean, if everyone here wasn't smart, then you wouldn't be here.
Of a skull and antlers of a roe deer, and the tusks of a wild boar. He also recorded 31 flint microliths, small little stone blades, and even though they'd been mostly removed from the grave, he deduced that they had actually been originally in one cluster on one side of the adult's body. Other miscellaneous items included pieces of turtle shell, animal teeth that had been bored through like beads, and a very impressive polished stone hand axe. By the end of the day, Henning had, against the odds, removed pretty much every major artifact that he could find and taken the best notes that he could. And while the excavation was far from perfect, there was still plenty of reliable information to start to research who was buried in this grave. Now, normally, this is where we get right into the interpretation and research for a site like this. But one of the things that makes the story of this discovery so unique is that it was made in Germany in 1934. What are you all the way up there for? That's a little better. Whoa, my...
His like locks look very fancy right here. Like, he kind of reminds me of like Fabio. Remember the Fabio hair? Okay, I might be too old, but some of you might remember. Florio Humblebrag, yeah. Well, I mean, in general, I mean, you know. I was into dinosaurs, yeah. Yeah, I think everyone kind of had like an archaeology phase. I will say like mine was from like, I mean, I remember I was like 4. And I decided not to pursue archaeology when I was like 16. So like I always had a plan to do this. But that guidance counselor talked me out of it. So archaeologists' methods are a lot like CSI. They are. Yeah, yeah. Which I actually do know a guy who digs for bones and fossils. He's really nice. Yeah, yeah, like, and you have to have a bit of patience. I don't know that I would be down for doing digs. I think that I probably would have really enjoyed, like, I really do enjoy art, and I probably, I mean, if I wanted to really hone my skills, I would be down for doing like some reconstruction stuff of like artifacts, but like I really kind of wanted to study artifacts and study things that were written down that people have discovered and maybe haven't cracked yet. Because like for example, we still don't know the like hieroglyphic system. Like we're guessing based off of the Rosetta Stone. It's missing a huge chunk, and we're assuming things about hieroglyphs, but we don't know for sure that we've properly translated it. So like that is actually something that still needs to be discovered technically. So Florio, I can't believe it's not butter. Yeah. Yeah, you recall Fabio. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Milo, he kind of looks like a pirate here too. Andrew Darling is a dino hunter. Okay, cool, cool. First book I ever wrote. 6 was about dinosaurs. Still have the prehistoric encyclopedia. Yeah, I was never into dinosaurs, but I literally read your comment, his voice. Yeah. I just really like humankind. Even, I mean, you can ask Ko too. I've been annoying him with a lot of my references and things I talk about are all like related to shows or TV or like whatever movies and games, and I consume a lot of post-apocalyptic or dystopian world settings because I find it fascinating what humankind does in different worlds, in different kind of worlds, and not in today's like kind of whatever orderly society, somewhat orderly, but you know. Moved on from dinosaurs when being a veterinarian, then to ecology wildlife, ended up being a tax accountant. Ooh, I don't think I could have done that path. Accountant. Ooh, God. I had a huge crush on Indiana Jones. I did too. I think a lot of people probably did.
Milo's halfway up a ladder. This must be important. You are absolutely right, it is. Important is an understatement. As some of you may remember, last fall I did a Northeastern tour in the United States. It was an entire month of almost fully sold out shows, and it was the most fun I've had in a very long time. And since I did that, I've had a lot of requests of people saying, so you're gonna do this again, right? Well, folks, after months upon months of work, I am very excited to announce that this fall, I will be going on tour again. And this time, we're going big. This ladder is so wobbly. This year, we're doing a national tour across the United States. It begins in October, and tickets are available now. This October, we will be visiting these cities: Boston, Mass, New York City, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Farmville, Virginia, Asheville, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, St. Louis, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and of course, Chicago, Illinois. If you're a West Coaster who noticed that there's no
Oh, see, you know what? If we could have pulled off, I know Douglas and us, like Vic and everyone, Kristen, we've all been talking about doing Salem, but like October 1st, I don't have the money for this right now, but it would be really cool. This would have been a good year for us to do like October 1st, we go and see Milo, and then we could like go to Salem. That would have been kind of fun timing. Although like October, like Douglas, you were saying Salem is insane. We could have gone like September 30th or something. That would have been a really good timing for that. Yeah. Kel said, my ultimate major I chose was teaching, ended up being a short order cook. But I make more than teachers. Yeah, teachers in America don't make anything. In Canada, they get paid too much, but it is what it is. Yeah, so what were you saying? I think one of you saying that you were gonna go to a show. Oh, Kat, you're gonna go to a show. Yeah, so like what Milo does too, after these shows, he'll do like often he does like a pub thing where you can go to the pub and get drunk with him. And sometimes if he does a show in like a college city, then he'll do like a pub crawl after, because he's still like, he acts like he's still in college. He really does, so. Early October is better. Yeah, I would imagine early October. Like we could have timed it kind of and even done like the last weekend of September, or go to Salem to avoid all the crowds, and then time it to like see Milo in Boston. If I had the money, I'd be like, yeah, let's do this, because the timing of this could actually work really well. Oh, you guys can't see my mouse. Hold on. Nope, not that one. Let me turn on my mouse. There we go. And, oh, now it's freaking out. Okay, cool, cool. There we go. All right. There we go. Okay, yeah. I was going to say like this one up top here. Yeah. That would have been good timing. After teachers had to deal with my daughter, they deserve hazard pay. Yeah, teachers make, well, the problem is teachers make, the ones in the union make so much that they now resort to like just hiring part-time teachers because they can't afford to hire full-time teachers. So like making too much ruins it for everyone else kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah. To be fair, Florida and Canada, it depends on the area and how much funding the school gets. My kids' teachers don't get enough and they're great. Yeah, I don't know. The teachers here in Ontario make like I'm talking about the full-time ones in the union. Now there are ones, and this is the problem, there are ones that are part-time and they don't make very much. And they don't get to be part of the union. But it's because the ones in the union are making like 100K plus a year. And they get like a lot of other things too that gets paid for. And it kind of eats up all the funds. So then anyway, it's like I was also a part-time teacher in college, and the same thing happens in the colleges too. They just hire part-timers because they can't afford to take on a full-timer in the union. So sadly, like I'm all for unions, but like not when they do this, like not when it destroys an industry so that no one can get a full-time job in it. So my daughter went from a kiddo on the spectrum who couldn't do a full day of school to only needing part-time. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, there are some good teachers out there. There's some good aides as well. And yeah, some of them get paid well. Like here they get paid, even the part-timers, though, our teachers still get paid better than America. Like American teachers, honestly, it's crazy. Like, it's really sad because it's kind of like, where is the American education system going to go when nobody is a teacher anymore because they literally can't afford their bills if they're a teacher. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Nebraska, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and of course, Chicago, Illinois. If you're a West Coaster who noticed that there's no cities near you, I promise that's not because I'm just passive-aggressively leaving out half of the country. Instead, we're splitting the tour into two parts. First half on the east of the Rockies, second half on the west of the Rockies. So before you fly all the way out from San Francisco, there will be dates on the West Coast. We just haven't nailed them down yet. If you are interested in coming and seeing me do my song and dance live in person in front of you, tickets for my national tour are available now. Link to that is in the description of this video. Click it, open it in another window. It'll be there when you're done with this video. The tour last fall was such a blast. I cannot wait to do this again and be able to meet so many new and wonderful faces. And I want to thank you all so very much for the support. This is really something I never even dreamed would be able to happen, and now it's happening. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of you there. Make sure to click that link below, and let's get back into the video. Okay, a little PSA before I go into this. You already know what I'm going to talk about, so no, I'm not giving a content warning. You know what is happening now. My content warning is instead the fact that I'm going to have to talk around some algorithm triggering words here because the algorithm is a massive bitch. I'm surprised it took this long, but I finally got a video demonetized. It's my going through an atlas from 1855. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It is currently demonetized and age restricted. I appealed it and it got rejected immediately because, once again, the YouTube censorship algorithm is a massive bitch. So I just want to say very personally that I absolutely loathe the weird, like, TikTok unalived bullshit. I think it's incredibly cringe and honestly really disrespectful. So believe me that it brings me no joy at all to have to talk around some of the topics when talking about Germany in 1934, but I gotta put food on the table, so I hope you guys understand. If you got a problem, take it up with YouTube. I will not, however, say the Austrian painter. That one makes me want to just lose my mind.
The thing is, you can say some of the words. You want to avoid some of them in the first like 10 minutes or so. Like I said a bunch of the words here with this live. It's possible that my live might get demonetized because I did say it like early on. You want to be careful in the first like 5-10 minutes, especially the first 1 minute. But some of the words you can say, but it's how often you say it. So like I have been trying in my videos now to not use the TikTok terms, but I've been using things like this person, you know, like took their life, or you can say actually killed and murdered. You just don't want to say it like 20,000 times. So like just limit how often you say it and then it won't get like triggered, right? But yeah, like the thing with whole Germany and Hitler and Nazis, like if you say that word probably too many times, it'll probably trigger something. But yeah, I have to check out the Atlas video. I haven't done it yet, so I'm not sure exactly what is in with the video. So, but the other thing to keep in mind too with Milo, he doesn't take sponsorships because all the companies all have like bad, in the end, when you really track down every single company, they all have something wrong with them, right? It's big corporation, of course. And so he relies on AdSense and also relies on, I think he has a Patreon, and then they do like a bunch of merch drops and stuff like that. So, oh, I got to work on my merch. I keep forgetting about that too. So, but yeah, so I personally have been trying to just, instead of using the TikTok terms because they are a little bit silly, I've been trying to now just say what I'm trying to say, but do it longer. And even when I talked about Hitler in some of my videos before, which now I've said his name far too many times, I said I would call him, you know, that crazy guy with the little mustache, or the angry guy with the little mustache from Germany. That's how I would kind of describe him. But no, I wouldn't call him an Austrian painter. I always refer to him as the crazy, like the little mustache guy. So yeah, but we'll see how it goes with everything. It's a little bit tough kind of navigating what YouTube wants because everything is being looked at by AI now, and it's hard when there's no humans actually checking AI's work. So sadly,
Occupants of the Bad Durrenberg burial had laid peacefully for thousands of years, blissfully unaware of everything happening in the world of the living. And as their terrible luck would have it, of all of the times they could have been discovered, it happened to be 1 year after the rise of the German Fascist Party. If I see one person say, they were actually socialists, I'm already worked up and no one's even talking to me. I'm alone. I'm worked up and I'm alone. How sad is that? Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do at all with the Bad Durrenberg burial? These two things, you know, they may have happened around the same time, but how are they remotely related? Well, unfortunately, archaeology happened to be a huge part of the rise in this new regime. This is why they're the enemies in the Indiana Jones movies. Now, there's several reasons for the obsession with archaeology, but there is one primary one. As the shadow of the party began to fall over Germany, its
You know what, actually, I want to show you guys a video that Alessio sent me. This is an Italian cartoon. I don't know much about it. He's told me that I should watch it. Hold on. Because it's interesting, because a lot of people are like not taking the word fascist seriously, or a lot of people don't realize what the word fascist is for. In Italy and Europe, apparently, like it's, people remember what the word means, but it talks about how people are now using the word Nazi. I just found that this is a very interesting explanation for people that get upset when you refer to things going on and you refer to the party. So let me play this one because this is pretty. I'm muted. Okay. So I really like that clip that he sent because I've had a lot of people I've seen push back and they're like, oh, you know, you shouldn't use that word. Da, 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 da. And it's like, but when you try to say the word fascist, people have no idea like what it means, or they downplay what fascist is now, right? It's like people have forgotten kind of what that word means. So it's kind of like people have to use the word Nazi to get the point across. And I found that really fascinating because it actually really does apply to a lot of stuff going on in today's day. So it's very interesting. Anyway, and just side tangent.
leader promised the German people a return to their former greatness. But his ambitions were a lot more than just a political campaign. One of his ultimate goals was the creation of a Volksgemeinschaft, or a people's community, essentially a gigantic German ethno-state that would be the home of his 1,000-year German Reich. It was a massive settler colonial project that aimed at replacing the surrounding inferior races with ethnic Germans. And this newly acquired land became known as Lebensraum, or living space. In order to create this Lebensraum, especially to the east, the current undesirable occupants would either be forced out, enslaved, or simply exterminated, leaving the lands open to be claimed by German settlers. But there was one thing missing from this plan, and that was a good justification. While some of the population might have hopped on board with this idea because of their own biases or because of the personal benefit that they saw they could gain, there needed to be some greater justification for it. Lacking a religious justification, the leader of the party turned to the more pragmatic use of pseudoscience. Enter the Aryan Aryan race. No, like, they're not actually coming in. It's just where they come into the story. See, the leader of the Reich believed that Europe had once been home to a highly advanced
Ken, you're saying they adopted the ideology from Mussolini. Yeah, like Hitler was obsessed with Mussolini. He really liked what he was doing and how he was doing it all. And Italy has like, they their history of Mussolini and them talking about it and keeping it in mind with a lot of stuff is very interesting because, you know, Alessio's Italian and he talks to me about this, like how people view Mussolini and everything now. So it's very fascinating to me. But yeah, Hitler was like obsessed with him. He even wrote him as well because he was like, I like what you're doing. Da, da, da. And then like Mussolini ignored him apparently. And it caused like a bit of a, like, I think that's why Hitler like at one point was targeting Italy because Mussolini didn't write it back or something. It was so dumb. This guy Adolf was like so, what's the word? Like he was so like self-conscious. Like he would get like so upset over little slights to him, right? It probably also didn't help that his brain was being eaten by what's the STD that he had? Oh god, it's escaping my mind right now. But yeah, his brain was like had holes in it because of that STD that he had. So I just can't remember the name of it right now. I only mentioned Mussolini because most people recognize the name. Yeah, but it is true though. Hitler, like, he was very obsessed with Mussolini. Like, he really liked what he was doing. And he kind of wrote him because he wanted to work with him from another like country, right? Like be like, oh, I'll get Germany and we'll work together. We'll like dominate, you know, Europe kind of deal. And Mussolini's like, who's this weirdo? Because at this point, when he wrote him, like Adolf wasn't famous or anything yet. Like this is at the beginnings of things, right? So yeah. Syphilis. That's it. That's the one. I can't remember if he had Strasser ended. There was also what's his name from Russia? I believe they were working together with Adolf, I believe, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. I might be misremembering something. I don't know. It'll come to me, I'm sure, later. Hey, Victoria. All right, I'm going to let this play, and I'm going to also grab a drink, but I'm listening. I have the headphones in. I'm just going to refresh my drink, but here, we'll let it play.
blonde-haired, white, blue-eyed, ancient European master race, and that it was from this initial highly advanced civilization that all the other great civilizations around the world had been taught. And he called them the the Aryans. Sorry. Freudian slip. Now, this is not to be confused with the Aryan that you might see used in like old textbooks. This refers to a group that we now call the Indo-Iranians. Back in the day, some scholars noticed a similarity between the Aryan or Indo-Iranian languages and the Indo-European languages, and the leader of the party, being equal parts racist and stupid, interpreted this as meaning there must have been one lost advanced master civilization, and that two groups, the Germans and the Scandinavians, were their direct descendants. Idolizing the white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed master race sounds like an awful lot of cope coming from a guy that looked like that. Can we even show a picture? I don't even know.
I don't even know. Hold on, let's go back and look at that.
Cope coming from
The writing. He didn't come up with this idea. He's just a historical figurehead. Yeah, no, he didn't come up with it. Yeah, this other guy came up with it, and popularized in Germany by Houston Stewart Chamberlain. Yeah, like this whole thing was really being spearheaded by the SS. And Himmler was sort of, I don't remember if they put him in charge. I think he did this on his own. He was trying to prove that this was all true using archaeology, right? So Stalin, yes, that's the Russian one I was trying to think of. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, no, this is very interesting stuff because there were so many people involved to bring us to this point. Like a lot of people only ever look at the one person who is like the figurehead, the mouthpiece, but like there's all these other people involved. Like in any point in history where there's like a crazy leader who does bad things, there's people around him that are doing a lot of this and adding to all this. So it is very interesting. Yeah.
Blonde-haired, blue-eyed master race sounds like an awful lot of cope coming from a guy that looked like that. Can we even show a picture? I don't even know anymore. What the fuck am I doing? And most critically, that for the descendants of this Aryan race, it was their birthright to reclaim the lands that now inferior races occupied. It's just like they say, you know, history might not always repeat itself, but it sure as shit rhymes. Wow, thank God nothing like that could ever happen again today.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
By framing Lebensraum not just as a conquest but as an ancestral right, the party's leader had successfully created a bridge between his ethno-supremacist project and a historical German identity. And this framing of it being a historical struggle for the safety and identity of the German people and the German state helped create a populace that would be complicit, if not enthusiastic, about the cleansing that it necessitated. The plan was as brilliant in its simplicity as it was absolutely evil. And so there was just one thing left to do: prove your claim to the land by getting out there and digging up some Aryans. Bad Durrenberg was discovered on May 4th of 1934. Just 1 week earlier, on April 27th of 1934, the new German regime founded, I'm gonna have to read this one off my laptop, and I'm gonna butcher it even doing that, the Reichsüberwachungsamt. The Reich Surveillance Office, or a lot more simply after its original supervisor, a man named Alfred Rosenberg, the Amt Rosenberg. The Amt Rosenberg became the original cultural arm of the Reich's indoctrination and propaganda unit. They monitored institutions of science, education, and art, and ensured that everything they published interpreted art, history, and science through the lens of the Reich's belief system. Thank God nothing like that could ever happen again today. Works that went against the narrative of the Reich were suppressed, destroyed, and their creators punished. Essentially, the Amt Rosenberg was the Reich's thought police. And within all these responsibilities, they also got the wonderful job of helping prove the existence of the Aryan race. When the burial at Bad Durrenberg was first discovered, Henning and others immediately noted how rich the grave goods were. And given this and its unfortunate discovery just a week after the foundation of the Amt Rosenberg, the Bad Durrenberg burial became one of the first archaeological discoveries to be interpreted through the lens of the Reich's pseudo-archaeological propaganda campaign. Henning immediately transported the discovery to the Halle State Museum of Prehistory, which at the time was called the Landesmuseum für Vorgeschichte Halle. Landsmuseum für Vorgeschichte Halle.
Das Landesmuseum für Vorgeschichte in Halle.
How'd I do, gang? Ta-da! Here the artifacts began to be cleaned and studied. Analysis of the skeleton fell to a man named Gerhard Herber. Gerhard Herberer. Herberer was a biological anthropologist, and much of his study was based in the now very outdated practice of phrenology, the study of the skull to tell things about a person. It was used for really great stuff. You guys have seen Django Unchained, all right? I don't need to explain this one to you. Boom, scientific racism. Anyway, based on the skull, he interpreted it as being the remains of a man and gave little attention to the remains of the child, which...
So, like, all of this, if you do your research and link back, a lot of this is early archaeology, and a lot of it is racist, anti-Semitism, things like that. And the thing is, a lot of these people who worked on this, people that escaped, you know, Germany because they couldn't stay, or people that were running from their, you know, they worked for the Nazis and they're running away from that. They ended up writing a lot of science fiction books, a lot. And they are the fathers of the majority of the conspiracy theories out there. They actually started all these conspiracy theories. They started a lot of the archaeology, like misinformation that was sort of just misogynistic, racist, whatever. And there's a lot of stuff passed down because of people like this. And a bunch of them are responsible for the majority of the alien theories that are out there. Like starseeds, it all links back into a Nazi, you know? And that's the thing, it's like, it's not great to adopt conspiracy theories or give them time of the day, because when you trace them all back, it all comes back to the Nazi Party. And a bunch of them came to America, were writing books and this and that, and essentially the like white supremacist movement started up around this time, and they were feeding into it. And so they were responsible for starting like this sort of sci-fi kind of movement, the white supremacist movement, conspiracy theories, like all this stuff. And it's like, we thought that you would think that we won the war, so we wouldn't have to worry about all this stuff. We don't have to worry about Nazis like infecting humankind in our history moving forward. But in fact, no. Like the majority of a lot of stuff right now that people consume and talk about online, it links back to a Nazi. Like it's crazy the amount of stuff that, because people are falling for all the slop right now, right? So Agartha, I don't know who's Agartha. You have to remind me about that one.
Which was mostly just brushed off as maybe a nod to family lineage or like a human sacrifice or something. The animal remains found inside the grave were interpreted as hunting trophies, and these, combined with the highly polished hand axe, interpreted him as being a highly successful Mesolithic hunter, farmer, warrior. And it was ultimately concluded that this grave held the remains of an Ur-Aryan, an original Aryan, a white, blonde, blue-haired patriarch of an advanced, ancient farming and warring society. And so they proudly reported to the Amt Rosenberg that what they had found was the grave of, you know, like Neolithic Fabio. Now you may be thinking to yourself, wow, this research sounds absolutely terrible, and that's where you'd be wrong.
That's kind of funny that he put Fabio as a joke in there when I said that he looked like Fabio earlier. So yeah, Russia also had an intellectual roundup. Yeah, like a lot of the bad people from these countries from during that time, they did end up in the US or Africa. Those are like, they kind of ended up, a lot of them who wanted to openly practice their beliefs, Africa. The ones who were trying to hide and not get arrested and not face punishment for any role that they played, they went to America. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
This research wasn't good or bad, it just wasn't research, it was propaganda. While I want to say in good faith the archaeologists studying it were motivated to actually learn about this discovery, the political atmosphere at the time essentially had them doing either subconscious or fully conscious self-censorship in order to say things that would be favorable.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the essay. Yeah. Yeah, so Herber joined it. 1933 was later appointed to multiple SS specialist positions by Heinrich Himmler. There's Himmler. Himmler was a big mastermind behind a lot of stuff. Like, you could say that he was probably number 2 in effect on everything. Like, if Adolf was number 1, Himmler was number 2. He had his hands in a lot of stuff, and he was doing a lot of stuff. The Allies ultimately gave Herber a Category V classification, non-incriminated person. This is what ended up happening, and a lot of them kind of escaped to America and stuff so that they wouldn't one day face punishment, or, you know, Europe changed their mind because it would be too hard to extradite them back over there, or America might not extradite them because America also doesn't listen to the crown. You know, it's a whole thing. So, and Africa was sort of like, I don't know all the politics of it, but it was definitely a haven that a lot of them escaped to. So, brown shirts, black shirts, yeah. Argatha is supposed to be an underground city of basically Aryans. Oh, okay. Wilhelm Landig wrote about it along with a few others. Interesting. And yeah, if you're wondering why Milo's nose is so red, he's been wearing safety goggles a lot lately. Okay. I just assumed like that he like hurt himself because he does do dumb shit in his room here. He does do weird stuff and tries to balance things on stuff. So I'm not surprised if he hurts himself. He also works outside a lot too on his property. So, but yeah, there's something else I was going to say. I don't remember. It'll come to me maybe.
Towards the regime, either to ingratiate themselves to it or simply to protect themselves. And believe me, while the burial at Bad Durrenberg was the first archaeological discovery to be interpreted like this, it was most certainly not the last. Weirdly, the rise of the Reich became a windfall for German archaeologists. Never ask a man his height, a woman her age, or a German museum where their funding came from between the years of 1936 and 1945. First, the Amt Rosenberg and the later Annenaber, which would become the Reich's specialty pseudo-archaeology department, would dedicate limitless resources to trying to find a.
Oh yeah, I remember I was going to say, you're saying it's speculated Himmler was trying to find Argatha. Yes, yeah. So what I was going to say is he did like that slip where he was like, Atlantis, I mean Aryans. That's what they thought. They thought that Atlanteans were the original Aryan master race, and that the Germans were descendants of the Atlanteans, the Aryans. So it all does link back into Atlantis. And again, like people who have like a lot of Atlantis conspiracy theories, or people, there's actually one I was hearing about on my Bashar video, that this woman is trying to say that she is like channeling some like thing from Atlantis, and it's like really really bad. So I have to look into her, because it sounded like she was very problematic of a person, and she also kept breaking character by accident apparently. So I do want to look into her as well. Yeah.
Artifacts and proving the existence of the lost Aryan race. But no matter how much money they threw at these digs, all of them would come back with the exact same problem. The only thing that they proved was that while the Roman and Greek empires were living in cities of marble, the ancestors of the German people were living in small isolated tribes in huts of sticks and mud. Now, while we obviously no longer view progression like this as linear, and we know that the groups that existed all around the world were highly sophisticated in many ways, to the
And the thing is, like, not necessarily saying, okay, so there were this Germanic people, and they were more, I believe it was more like northern Germany. I think it was like northeast. There was a group of them. I can't remember their name. I said I did want to do a video on this, and I keep forgetting. I got to come back to it. But they essentially were like hard, like they were sort of like what you would think of for like a witch in nature, or like a wood elf or something. Like they like lived in nature. Everything was about nature. Everything was trees, all stuff. And like they were very much like it wasn't even Celtic, because they were kind of their own thing. And I find them fascinating, and I really enjoy that those pagan practices. They're very like earth and nature based. And that's saying, and those people, they were living like essentially among mud and rocks and trees, because I mean that's what they like to do, right? But it's just funny, because technically they kind of were born from those people, and they lost against the Romans because they weren't technologically advanced enough for it. So but yeah, anyway, it's very interesting. I do want to cover them at some point, because it links back into witchcraft stuff. So like I know I said I want to do a witchcraft video. I just got to figure out what angle I'm going to do it at, because I know people want me to talk about witchcraft more, so I will. I just don't know where to start, so we'll get to it eventually. Hey, Skeptic Lipstick as well, welcome.
The highly hierarchical German Empire, this was completely unacceptable. So while I think the Picts and Gauls are just as cool as you do, the Germans had like, you know, they had small Pict syndrome about it. So they did what every guy does when they're self-conscious about the size of their Pict, and they, you know, they try and hype it up and make it sound like it's way bigger than it actually is. So all the sites were sort of twisted to fit the Aryan narrative. It was an uphill battle because Germany had nothing as visually stunning as, you know, like the Acropolis, so only a few sites actually became household names, with places like Biskupin and Exernstein becoming probably the best examples. But Bad Durrenberg, among many other burials that were both less convincing and less exciting, got lumped in with just sort of a greater narrative of the Aryan race, as if an admission of guilt for the weak evidence that the Bad Durrenberg burial posed. These supposed remains of a great leader of the German people's lost ancestors were then interred once again. Its purpose fulfilled for the propaganda machine, it was buried in storage at the Halle State Museum. In a little over a month, these two individuals that had laid peacefully for thousands of years had been ripped from the ground and assigned a role in a campaign of destruction. And over the following years,
Yeah. So you said that Adolf hired a mentalist hypnotist to help with his rallies and speeches. Interesting. I didn't know about that. I would not be surprised. Yeah. It was Beowulf German, Scandinavian, but written German style. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't know that would make sense that if he hired someone. Well, I saying, I mean, I heard that he just had like the charisma. It's like, I don't know, I guess even nowadays, you know, who apparently has charisma that some people are into. I don't find it works on, like, I don't get it, but like I understand a lot of other people get it, but I think it actually stems from something else, but we won't get into that. But yeah, it's interesting, and he did talk about the Picts and the Germanic people and something else too. And I would like to do that's like I love history. I love talking about this stuff, but every time I make like a full on history video, like a actual dive into this stuff, which I really enjoy, the videos never like do well. And so I'm thinking like maybe I should do it on streams, because I every time we talked about on streams, people really enjoyed talking about history. So we could do like history streams just for fun. Because like the videos never really do well, and it's a lot of work. As like I'm talking off the top of my head, so like everything I'm saying, I'm like I have fibro fog and I don't remember things correctly, so I'm sure I'm getting like little things wrong. That's why when I do a full video, I want to like do a ton of research, but we could just kind of talk on stream and then just be like, look it up after, because I probably am getting some details wrong. But I don't get the charisma. A lot of the cult leaders I cover apparently had, yeah, I don't, a lot of them, yeah. Trying to think. Who would be, the thing is, me, I would have probably fallen for, honestly, I probably would have fallen for Manson. Just because he sucked people in with music, and I am like, I'm a sucker for like musician, artists, things like that. Yeah, like there's some cults I don't understand, but then also like, I think too, like Queen of Karma is Canadian, I'm Canadian. There's also like this sort of thing that we have to realize when we're looking at Americans. And even like a lot of Americans don't really think about this, because I think it's more a Southern American issue, where like evangelical Christians are the basis for like a lot of these cults and stuff, right? And a lot of the power, because like the Bible has a lot of power behind it, especially for Americans specifically. And like the swings, the more, what is it? The more, can't think of the word, like the more crazy ideas or whatever, the more like, oh yeah, you can't do this or this or whatever. And it's like very out there as an idea. It's their interpretation. It's like the evangelical interpretation. So they tend to like fall for cults and stuff a little bit easier, because they're already living in a sort of fantasy world, right? Because of how serious that they take the Bible. So Eric, I'm assuming it's Han, Eric or Jan, no, Eric Jan Hanussen, Eric Jan Hanussen was a showman who helped Adolf. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay. Thus my misery living in the South. Yeah. It's a little bit, it's more rough in the South. I know I talked to people that are in like New York, and they're like, oh, we don't get that here, or it's not really like that here. And I'm like, I think it's more like a South, it's more prevalent in the South. Not to say it's not prevalent anywhere else, but it's more prevalent in the South. Yeah, for sure. And I do apologize. My like shoulder is so messed up. I got freezing done it yesterday too, and I've taken painkillers, but there's only so much I can do. But I keep like kind of moving funny and stuff, just because it's annoying the heck out of me. So I do apologize if I'm making faces. I'm not really making faces at Milo.
The ideology that they had been used to help shape would claim the lives of tens of millions of people in a war that would engulf almost the entire world. And as the world outside was ripped apart and soaked in blood, within the walls of the Halle State Museum of Prehistory, the remains of an adult and a child lay silently, their story still unknown as it had been for thousands of years.
Okay, reading the bones. See, this is the stuff. So my friend, we both wanted to do archaeology, and I ended up like not going forward, but she wanted to go forward with it. But she started with an anthropology minor or something like that she was working on, then she was going to work into archaeology. She ended up sticking with anthropology, but she did like a specialty in this, and she was like learning how to read bones, and it was very interesting. Very interesting. Please save us. What do you mean? You're in Montreal. I think that we need to save Americans right now. My southern side is very easily manipulated. Yeah, like that's what it is, right? It's more about like you guys are kind of born into this sort of, I mean, America itself is kind of cult-like, to be honest, with the patriotism, and you are kind of insulated. You guys view yourself as like better or different or special compared to the rest of the world. I'm making generalizations, okay? I'm not accusing anyone specific, but you kind of are born into that, right? Whereas like other countries, we have some national pride, but it only comes out during like sporting events or something, you know, where you guys are like always on it. Like you're always like proud American, like everything every day, you know? So it kind of sets a basis to fall for cult really easily. But also like, oh, I thought that you were, oh no, I thought you were someone else then. Sorry. I thought, sorry. I got you mixed up. Oh, she has a similar name. Okay. She keeps changing her name too everywhere. She might pop in here because she has a name too that says like louder life or something like that. But okay, so with that though, it's funny because like when I grew up like a very new agey mystical household, and then like when I look back on stuff now, which I've been kind of doing lately, and like there's a lot of instances where I feel like we were sort of about to be in a cult, but then like my mom pulled us out of the situation. It's like, and I think that happened a lot, especially with my mom, because she was a hippie and she like did a lot of stuff. Like her rule was always that she would like never go on a commune. She would never live on a commune. Like she recognized that there was something wrong with that, you know, because it creates cults and cult-like behavior, right? So but yeah, I look at some stuff and I'm like, yeah, but that's like some of the thinking that she had me convinced of too was like magical thinking. And so it's just fascinating because like I'd be more inclined to fall for, well, I mean, we were a Rosicrucian, and Rosicrucians, there's a cult that was developed out of that, you know? So like I would have been more likely to fall for a cult that would relate into occult practices, witches, spiritualism and stuff. Whereas like, because that's sort of what I was raised in, but I would never fall for one that had to do with the Bible. But all the people that are raised in Christianity, Catholic or whatever, it would be easy to fall for a cult like that because you already have like, you're already primed, right? And it's kind of easy to fall into it. So my first 5 years after I moved south, I got called a Yank. Really? US has a total cult of politics. Yeah, like US itself is a cult. It's very fascinating. It is very fascinating. Yeah. I'm over in Tennessee. Sending you good vibes. Yeah. Oh, Tennessee right now is not great. What's going on there? Oh, yeah. It's a little bit rough. I moved to California for 20 years and moved back to South Carolina. Is that it? I work in mental health. My first week at work, I was told that shamans were hallucinations. That they had hallucinations, or that they like never existed? Because like I could understand saying that they had hallucinations, but they were a real thing. They were just humans. Like they were like the priests of that time, you know? The Bo and Peep cult just blows my mind. I don't think I've heard of that one. I have to look into that. Yeah, Tennessee's beautiful, but politics and people, yeah. Yeah, it's the politics are so wild there right now. I grew up very Roman Catholic, ended up in a few cults before I woke up. Yeah, like that thing. I feel like when you grow up in a religion, it kind of primes you to fall for cults. It really does. And there does tend to be like a lot of, well, there's a lot of, what's the word? My words today. Like there's a lot of people that want to be a cult leader essentially, right? Like they're like predators. And so they see these religions and they see the way that people are praying and their faith, and they're like, oh, I want to take advantage of that, or I want that faith, right? Oh, thank you, iMatch, for the jewels. It just popped up real quick there. Thank you. That they never existed. That anyone who believed in them were psychotic. Shamans existed. They were just like the priests of that time. Yeah, that's weird that they would say that. Like they existed. Did what they do, was that actually like mystical stuff? I don't think so, but to be honest, like they were more drugged up than our priests nowadays. So like do I think that they believed it more than our own priests nowadays? Yes. Do I like I think that their belief was stronger than the Pope. Like to be honest. They were, a lot of them were very much like into plant stuff. And it would make their experience more heightened. So 100% they would be like hardcore belief, you know. Bo Peep was Heaven's Gate. Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah. It's just thing. The way I was raised, probably Heaven's Gate, other than I don't like aliens, but something like Heaven's Gate is what I would fall for. Because of how I was raised, right? But I think that's what it is though. I was like I was raised Rosicrucian, and then my mom told me to choose my own religion and stuff, but like I had like this sort of occult and mystical esoteric kind of upbringing. So I would definitely fall for something like that for sure. Yeah. We got the Seventh-day Adventists over here in Tennessee. We do have some of them here. We have some we have a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses here, and I do feel bad for those kids. There were a few that were in school with us at one point when I was in high school, and they were just like getting experience to the world. And I remember having this discussion with them about Halloween, because I didn't understand, how can you not celebrate Halloween? It's like the most fun time. And a lot of us were trying to like teach them about the real world because they were so shut in. And then like just one day they stopped getting on the bus and stopped going to school. So I'm like, oh, I think their parents started homeschooling them because we were teaching them stuff. So that freaked them out. Yeah. The MLMs pop up everywhere. Yeah.
I see that look on your face. You're thinking to yourself, are his pants dirtier than they were right before that chapter card? No. Absolutely not. You're literally insane for thinking that. I would never go garden for a day and then come back and film in the same pants because I'm dedicated to wearing the same outfit. That would be a weird thing to do. Miraculously, the Halle State Museum of Prehistory survives World War II. And when the dust finally settles, the museum and everything in it falls into the Soviet-controlled East Germany. And as the theories of the Aryan race began to fall to the wayside, the Bad Durrenberg burial was given a second chance to tell its real story to fresh eyes. The first of this new research took place in the 1950s. While taking inventory of the museum's storage, researchers came across the Bad Durrenberg burial, realized that it had pretty much no reliable information on it, and decided to just start from scratch. They began with an analysis of the skeleton, not only the skull, but other post-cranial bones. And almost immediately they found something surprising. This Ur-Aryan warrior farmer patriarch was actually the remains of a woman. Oh, dude, come on, this video is about women? Milo Rossi goes woke yet again. Clicking off the video, gonna go listen to a guy complain about Star Wars. This one revelation reframed the entire burial.
Yeah, I don't know why people get so worked up when we talk about women. I mean, I was just attacked for it a couple weeks ago. So Stalin and Adolf were taught in school when you were young, but now it was learning the mistakes of the past and not repeat them in the future. Yeah, do they not teach that anymore? Like we learned it when I was in school too, but like if they aren't teaching that anymore, that's not good. Not good. Went to high school with a bunch of Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah, they're really nice folks. Just like the kids were like so shut in. Yeah. Halloween rules, always my favorite holiday. Yes, yeah. Yeah, self-expression. Yeah, I like the self-expression. That's like one of the big things I do like about it. Yeah. For sure.
And it was clear immediately that this was just the beginning of a fascinating story. In 1957, a researcher named H. Grimm noticed an anomaly in the woman's foramen magnum. That's the hole in the base of the skull. He noticed an anomaly that sort of looked like a little chip taken out of the edge of the hole. He wasn't entirely sure of what this meant at the time, but interpreted it as being potential evidence of decapitation. This anomaly ends up playing a huge role in this story, but its true explanation would not be known for many more years. By the 1970s, the methods for dating artifacts had improved significantly, and it was then that the Bad Durrenberg burial was found to be nearly 9,000 years old, dating as far back as the Mesolithic period. Use our timeline. We need a timeline. show how long ago that is. This led to yet another interesting revelation. This Ur-Aryan farmer warrior was not only not a man, which would be conclusively proven through later osteological work in the 90s, but also not a farmer, as the time that she had lived predates the dawn of agriculture in this part of the world by nearly 2,000 years. Most of these studies had focused on the remains themselves, and the discoveries that they made had completely changed this story. But by the 2000s, more research began to go into the artifacts that had been included in the grave. The items that this woman had been buried with fall loosely into two categories: utilitarian objects like hand axes and stone blades, and personal ornamentation like the pierced teeth. The objects themselves.
So in the US, they're teaching to standardize tests a lot more and regimented to what you're allowed to show, which is interesting because I talked about the SATs in, I think it was a QAnon video, and someone commented underneath saying that the SAT is actually linked, and they gave like a bunch of names of the person who started it, and it's actually linked to white supremacy. So like it's designed in such a way that they want black kids to not do well on the test and have the white kids do well on the test. So if that's how they're like, if they're teaching towards all that, then that's not good, because apparently they also tried to sort of fix the SAT test after a lot of stuff like that kind of was brought up, but they've never been able to fix it. Like I don't know, it's so weird that America does SATs for everything. Like it's not a good indicator of a student, and it's kind of messed up that that's required to get into college, because I don't test well. I don't do test well. Yeah. Victoria, Florida rules, she also promotes positivity, self-expression. Yes, definitely positivity, self-expression, and I try to be like a safe place too for women as well, and that's like a big apparent sore spot for this community. But if you guys are feeling scared or freaked out in any of the communities or any of the wherever, you're welcome here. All right. I'm not going to turn it back around on you. Yeah.
Had some interesting stories to tell. Okay, if you're thinking about grave goods, you're probably thinking about the same thing that I am. You know, things gathered by the community and left as an offering with the dead. But weirdly, this burial seems to have very few things like that. There's a few things that seem like offerings, like little caches of mussel shells and deer bones, but most of the things that were included in the grave were single items. Things like the hand axe, an antler handle, a selection of different sized awls, and multiple teeth that had once been strung into a single garment. Interestingly, many of these single items were highly worn, with things like a pendant that was made out of a boar's tongue bone, which I didn't even know was a thing, being incredibly worn down on one side, suggesting that it had been worn for years and had rubbed against skin or clothing. The fact that so many objects within the grave were individual items and were highly worn suggests that these weren't just offerings, but potentially the personal belongings of the grave's occupant. This multitude of presumably personal tools suggests that she had been highly skilled at doing something through the course of her life. It was quickly and obviously concluded that the animal remains that the former interpreters had seen as hunting trophies were instead the remains of some sort of regalia. But more interesting were the remains of the roe deer skull and antlers, because it was determined that these were the remains of some sort of headdress. This was in line with several other newer burials that had been discovered in this part of the world that included the skulls and antlers of roe deer in some form of, ceremonial dress. But the difference is that the grave of the woman buried at Bad Durrenberg was exceptionally rich. There have really only been two other major burials found in this part of the world that date to this time period. One of which was that of a woman buried with a few small microliths, and another a mix of adults and children that were found with only two retouched stone blades. And even when we look at other Mesolithic graves across Europe, the woman at Bad Durrenberg supersedes all of them, making hers one of, if not the richest Mesolithic grave ever discovered in Europe. It was clear that whoever this woman had been, she had been incredibly important, and it was around here that she earned her most common nickname, the Bad Durrenberg Shaman. As her story began to slowly come into focus, public interest in the research began to skyrocket. Forgotten for nearly 10,000 years, the newly christened Bad Durrenberg Shaman began to find her way into newspapers and magazines, and was even moved from storage to her own dedicated exhibit in the Halle State Museum of Prehistory. And as the Bad Durrenberg Shaman began to gain sort of a celebrity...
That's cool that she has like a whole thing in a museum. That's really neat. Yeah, you said, Bunny, I asked, your priest if animals go to heaven. The pastor said, no, probably not. I was so confused. So I just answered them. Why would I even want to go there? There's a few people I've talked to who like literally that is what broke them out of Christianity or Catholicism, is when their priest was like, no, animals don't go to heaven. And they were like, but why not? Right. And then like they told me that was like the moment that they stopped believing. It's just like, and that's the thing, it's like, it's so rigid. Right. And I think like any religion that tries to be that rigid is also very primed to be culty too, right? Because then you're kind of given all these rules and things that you're supposed to live by. Then when someone isn't doing it, then gives an opportunity to shame them. And if you shame them, then people are always worried about being shamed. And so they'll just like stay in line, you know? So, hey, Garfix, thank you.
Celebrity status, the research into her life kicked into high gear. In the mid-2000s, she underwent new osteological research. That's research about bones. I've said osteology a few times in here. That probably should have been explained earlier, but the editors probably put up a title card, so you're...
Yeah, so in the UK, any books or comments automatically get deemed a certain leaning even. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and that's where I've kind of realized, like, we've kind of fallen for this trap where they want us to be arguing of like, are you left or are you right? Are you left? Are you liberal or are you conservative, Republican, whatever, depending on whatever country, there's different words for it. And it's like, these terms have been around for a long time. This isn't like a left versus right thing, but they want us to fight, because if we're fighting for with each other, then we're not watching what they're doing, you know? So it's like, we got to stop falling for this stuff. And even, you know, I was trying to talk about like feminism and misogyny. And then I'm like, apparently I got accused of being an left extremist or something like that. And I was like, okay, this shouldn't be like a left or right thing. Like if you're saying that, if in order to be right leaning, that you're not supposed to have any respect for women, like, is that what you're saying? So like, if you respect women and if women respect themselves, you're essentially saying they don't belong over on the right, that they all should be on the left, right? And it's like that's a bold statement, but you know, why are we even labeling this? Like, we shouldn't be assigning a political party to these things. These are sociological issues, concerns, discussion points. They don't need to have a political party behind them. And discussing them, and also people saying, oh, well, it's all politics, we don't want to talk about politics. Like, this technically isn't politics. This is sociology, and this is stuff like psychology and things that we should be discussing, because if we don't discuss them, then we don't see any improvement. It's just like, I don't know. I think it's so wild the way that the world is going right now. It's like, okay, so just because I'm a woman who supports feminism, I am an evil lib, you know, I won't say the rest of that because it's offensive, but you know what I mean? It's just like, what is wrong with people? And that's the thing. I mean, and if y'all who are mad at me for talking about women think that way, like, I don't want you to be part of my audience, because that's a ridiculous line of thinking. Yeah. Does the Bible say something about the lion lying beside the lamb in heaven, or is that some sort of play on words? I'm not sure if that's in the Bible or if that was something that was added during the King, what is it? The King James one or whatever. It might have been something added there. Yeah, you'd have to research it, because it also kind of sounds like a folk tale too. Once a psychic told me the animal spiritual heaven is different than the human one, but another psychic told me she saw my mom with my childhood Labrador in heaven. Oh yeah, no, and that's the thing. There's a lot of logical fallacies in religion and in psychics too. Yeah. Lurking while I get some dinner. Yeah, no worries, Sage Rat. Bold statement, Cotton. We'll see how it works out for them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cal, I completely agree with you. Yeah. I just think it's wild. I'm like, okay, well, the thing is, I'm going to talk about these things. So if people think it's that political, then you probably just shouldn't stick around. Like, you know, I'm tired of like dancing around the crap. I don't care. I'm just going to take care of my own channel and not worry about being a part of whatever community that's holding up misogynists. So, yeah. I think we're very much in a digital information dark ages. Yeah, Tracy, I've been saying that too. Like the dead internet theory is definitely a thing. And AI, well, it has its good things, it has many bad things. One of the bad things is it's learned how to build its knowledge based off of everything we've said online. And that includes all the misinformation and mean people online. So like AI is not smart. It's actually dumb because it learned from us and it didn't learn to check the difference between who's factual and who's not factual. It's taken in all the information. Like, and the AI is what's going to cause this dark ages, because it is like people are like, just, they have no idea how to research anything. They have no idea how to fact check anything. Like, I know, like, sometimes I just like quickly share something and don't fact check it. Usually when it involves like women, and essay and things like that, it's usually when I do that. But otherwise, like, I do try to fact check stuff. And I think that we all need to try to fact check stuff as much as we can, but it's so difficult. And I think that that's sort of part of the dark ages that we're in with the internet. TikTok and short form content definitely has made us stupid. Like, yeah, it is brain rot for sure, for sure.
Good. Unless you're watching this while you're, playing Fortnite or something, in which case you didn't see it then and you didn't see it now. So I hope you know what osteological means. The new research was finally able to determine her age. It was found that at the time of her death, she had been between the ages of 25 and 35. They also identified several unusual wear patterns on her teeth. The most notable and kind of skin-crawling of these is that her front teeth had been so worn down that the pulp had been exposed. There's no conclusive explanation for what caused this, but this pattern is very similar to those seen in cultures that use their teeth as tools. Things like peeling with your teeth, or, like holding a strip of something in your mouth to do something with your hands, or some other.
Sorry, I'm going to read this thing. There's also some evidence for this wear happening very rapidly, though scientists are challenged by the fact that some patterns may have been covered up by healing or further damage throughout the life. Okay, right. Each study further develops the most plausible possibilities. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. And yeah, our teeth are tools as well, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, we need more Google debunkers. Yeah, exactly. Listen to Ed Zytron about AI. Okay, you have to remind me of that name too later. That's the thing. I'm planning to do an AI video because related to the Penhurst data center, because they want to tear down Penhurst and replace it with the data center. I do think that it's a nuanced discussion. I think AI does have a place in our future, but we're not trying to fix it, we're not trying to improve it, and we're not trying to fix the environmental impact because there's no pressure to fix it. And that's going to be the downfall. That's going to be the problem with AI, right? So, like, honestly, I'm not even really that concerned with the plagiarism stuff and all that. I'm honestly concerned with it's dumb, it lies, it has hallucinations, it's not good enough to take over human jobs yet, but it is replacing human jobs. It's not ready. And just my biggest concern is the environmental impact, right? It's one thing to have like just text scraping and like shoot out text that you have from, different websites, or like you're just talking to the AI and sort of getting its feedback. That's not so bad on the environment, to be honest. But it's the generating of video, right? The generating of images. That's what's killer. That's what's killer for the environment. So, I always say animals are my favorite people. Yeah, that's what he says essentially. Yeah, like I do think it's a very nuanced discussion. I want to kind of talk about it a bit, but I'm going to talk about it as well within the context of the Penhurst data center, which I was talking to the owners, or the representative for the owners, and I sent them my list of questions that they were going to send and get back to me, and they have ghosted me because my list of questions had a lot of stuff about the environment in it, and I don't think that they were ready for that part. So yeah, AI is in the nuclear early warning systems of the US, Russia, and China now. Yeah, that's the problem. It's not smart enough to replace humans yet. and we aren't in a position in the world right now for all of our jobs to be replaced. Like the only way that we can do the singularity, which that's the idea here, is that humans don't have to work and we can just work on evolving our intelligence and evolve as you know, a race and everything, right? And the only way we're going to kind of reach that is with guaranteed income, like a living wage, right? We all need a living wage because that like lessens a lot of the stress and burden. But I don't think they want to do that because our prison is capitalism. None of us are going out and able to protest at every protest. We aren't able to do all these things and make change within the world because we're too busy worrying about having to pay bills. Like that's the reality of it, you know? So we only have so much energy and time, and them making us work like 40, 80 hours a week to pay bills. We don't have time to fight, and they like it that way. And when I say they, I am talking about the billionaires, by the way. I'm not talking about like any specific political party. Political parties don't mean anything. And this is the other thing, like we need to, left and right doesn't mean anything. You look at which freaking billionaire is behind things. It's the billionaires, right? So yeah. Look at the video, the most profound moment in gaming history. It's a warning about AI from 2000. I feel like I've watched that. I'll have to look at that again. Yeah. The lore lodge firmly against the Penhurst data center. Yeah. A lot of people are, and the thing is, the ground there is very dangerous. Like, because it used to be an old coal factory, there's a bunch of seepage of coal stuff in the ground because they just buried everything instead of cleaning it properly when they closed everything down, because nature things how they were back in the day. So coal will become radioactive. Like I have a whole thing about it. The local senator, I think it's a senator for that area, maybe governor, I can't remember, but she's been fighting this data center, and she's provided all the studies and everything on coal and the ground and everything. Essentially, it's like digging into asbestos. If they dig into that ground, it's like digging into asbestos, except what's going to come up is radiation and nuclear radiation. Everyone's going to get sick. Everything's going to get sick. Like that ground there is extremely dangerous. We need to not touch it. We need to treat it like asbestos and don't touch it. There's no way to fix it. So like that alone is very concerning. So there's a bunch of stuff that I have about Penhurst. So I do want to kind of talk about it. Yeah.
Repetitive task of holding something between your teeth. If you're like me, you probably look at the images of those teeth and you're like, ooh. And you're right in believing that that would have hurt so much. The same study also found evidence of like bone density depletion in her sinuses, which they believe to be linked to one of potentially many infections that had been caused by this exposed pulp of her front teeth. Okay, you remember the foramen magnum thing we talked about earlier where the guy thought she had been decapitated? Well, this study also decided to look at that. They found no other cut marks around the base of her skull or her vertebrae, so they were pretty quickly able to rule out the decapitation theory. Instead, this seemed to be evidence of aplasia, a medical phenomenon where part of the body just doesn't develop properly. It seemed here that this part of her foramen magnum was just underdeveloped, and further that kind of weird circular little hole had a blood vessel running through it. Now, if you're like me with the teeth, that also makes your hair stand up a little bit. But the implications of this are really interesting. You're right in thinking that this likely had a huge effect on this woman's life, and reconstruction suggests that if she held her head at certain angles, this vessel could get pinched and restrict or cut off blood flow to her brain. It's heavily debated just how much this deformation affected this woman's life, but since there are still people born with a similar deformation today, we can get a pretty good idea for what her life.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you know, I bet that she had like bad migraines and stuff too, and they treated it like it was like a spiritual like vision or whatever, because that's what they would do back then too, is kind of turn things into visions. Yeah, and I forgot to mention Douglas too. Yeah, the Penhurst, all the buildings have asbestos in them. So the way asbestos works is like either you don't touch it, make sure it's sealed up and don't touch it, and that's fine, it's safe, just don't touch it, right? Or you need to get it cleaned up properly. If you're going to touch anything, if you're going to break into the wall, if you're going to like break an asbestos tile, that's where the risk comes in, because you're opening it up and exposing it to the air, right? So all the buildings in Penhurst are filled with asbestos, and they were given a certain amount of money to like clean up the asbestos, but they never really actually provided proof that they cleaned anything up. They apparently tore down one building, and this money came from the government, taxpayer money, to clean this up. But so that's the whole thing. Like when they go in to do this data center, all the EPA laws are gone right now for data centers specifically. Data centers have been granted the right to not have to follow EPA laws. And that's why they're trying to get a data center, because they want to unload that property. And that property is, you can't do anything with it. It's literally land that needs to just be left alone, essentially, right? And it's too expensive to maintain the buildings and everything, even with the ghost hunts and stuff. So like this whole data center situation, AI data centers, by the way, is what I mean. There's a difference between AI and normal ones. But this whole AI data center situation is their like quick and easy way that they can get rid of this land, and then the data center will be built. There's no EPA requirements. And that land there, the buildings are filled with asbestos. There's cancer. The land has this coal stuff. There's a word for it. And essentially it's radioactive. So it's like, my God, like if they dug into that, if they tore down those buildings and dug into that land, that's bad. Like it's going to be really, really, really bad. So yeah. So yes, the senator that's doing it. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. So that senator, this is what she's fighting about. Like specifically, she has pointed out a bunch of issues like this with the asbestos and the land there. Yeah. How did you break your teeth off, Bubba? Maybe it's from opening all those beer bottles with my teeth. Yeah. Oh God, I know, and I have teeth problems too because I have really bad anxiety and claustrophobia with dentists specifically, and it's so difficult for me to get any work done because I need to like be put under. So I'm like, I have a bunch of stuff I need to get done with my teeth, and I can imagine the amount of pain that this woman was in. Oh my gosh, it would have been horrible. Yeah.
Life must have been like. People who experience this form of aplasia in the modern day describe the sensation of the blood being cut off as causing everything from tingles in the hands and fingers, all the way up to the much more extreme symptoms of hallucinating or passing out. The point is, the symptoms one can experience when their brain is deprived of blood and oxygen can be really diverse, and the apparent severity of this woman's case could have been pretty debilitating. But interestingly, rather than crippling her life, many believe that it was this disability that gave this woman her significance. If she truly did experience everything from physical sensations all the way up to things like hallucinations, and could experience them on demand no less by the way she held her head, it's quite possible that these experiences made this woman's community view her as bridging the gap between this world and the next. There are multitudes of documented examples around the world of things that we today view as disabilities as being highly revered in the ancient world, and it's believed by many that this woman's apparent spiritual significance during her life was linked to this deformation in her neck. In 2019, there was a breakthrough in this research. Researchers were able to locate the original grave that had the pipe ran through it in 1934. And on re-excavation, they found several sections of the grave that had remained undisturbed. As if perfectly exemplifying my point about context earlier, these parts of the grave were excavated in their entirety, as in they scooped them out of the ground in 2 6-ton blocks that were completely put in boxes and taken back to the Halle Museum to be like meticulously gone through. They yielded many small artifacts that had been overlooked in the initial dig, things.
That's really cool. You have eye surgery Thursday. Well, yeah, eyes do freak me out. When I was being diagnosed with MS, I didn't know like what I had yet. And yeah, I have MS. It's not progressive, so I don't really talk about it too much. So, but at the time they thought it was like a detached retina, and I'm so scared of eye stuff that I was like so scared to have eye surgery because you have to have like your eyes open, and that freaked me out. And at the time, I remember I was hoping that it was going to be a brain tumor because I just really didn't want to have eye surgery. So I feel for you. Eye surgery is like, it's scary to me. I don't know. I find it so creepy because it's like, it's what, if you can be put under anesthesia and you just go to sleep and you don't know what's going on or have to be involved in the surgery, I think that's better. So hopefully you get it sorted. Oh, Jesus, my phone. But my mom has gone for a lot of eye surgeries and they always go well. They always like, everything works fine with it. The healing after is pretty like it's very advanced. Eye surgery nowadays is very advanced. So I'm sure it'll be successful and everything, but it's definitely stressful. So I feel for you and good luck with it. I'm sure everything will work out, but yeah, we'll send you good vibes on it for sure. Yeah.
Like teeth and bone fragments. But one of the most interesting things that they found was the imprint of goose feathers. The location of these prints indicate that feathers were some part of her headdress regalia. These blocks also had a lot to tell about the grave's original layout, which addressed the giant question mark that a lot of you, I'm sure, have floating over your head right now. So what was the story between the woman and the child? The sex of the infant has not been conclusively determined, but they were found to be between the ages of 6 and 12 months. This is where they started to do some DNA analysis on the child and started to find some weird things. Firstly, and a little bit weird, is that this is not this woman's child. But secondly, and even weirder, is that this child is still related to her. See, both individuals share an mtDNA haplogroup called U4. That does not mean literally anything to me, but I read it in a paper, so I'm saying it to sound smart. All that you do need to know is that this shows a further relationship between the two individuals, potentially a great-great-grandparent or a distant cousin or aunt. This similarity could be just due to the fact that maybe she lived in a small group of people, so it was hard to find someone that wasn't sort of related somewhere back, but others have suggested that the relationship between the two is somehow significant to the burial. While a mother and child buried together is culturally significant, this burial could suggest some sort of reverence for a relationship between distant kin. But this isn't the only unusual thing that DNA research uncovered. Genetic analysis of the woman showed that she had mitochondrial DNA U4B1B1, which also does not mean anything to me. Thankfully, they had a lot of people smarter than me doing this research, so they were able to tell us what it means. This isn't all that surprising because this DNA signature is found in lots of different European Mesolithic hunter-gatherer groups, but what is significant is that it affects an individual's phenotype, or their physical appearance, and it is more specifically linked to 3 traits: blue eyes, straight dark brown hair, and dark skin. Oh my god, not only was she a woman, but she had dark skin? Wow, guys, he's finally done it. He went double woke. Okay, the 2019 excavation...
That's funny. But that would have been really pretty though with the blue eyes. I love dark hair with blue eyes. You at the dentist all day? Oh yeah, I know. I need to get dental stuff done. I really do, actually. I have chips in my teeth. On the bottom, but I'm just like so scared of the dentist, man. It freaks me out. I wanted LASIK at one point, then I looked at the procedure. Yeah, so like, well, yeah, the procedure looks creepy as heck. And then I learned recently too that if you want LASIK, your eyeglass prescription needs to have not changed in like the last 3 or 5 years or something like that. So if your eyeglass prescription keeps changing, like if your eyes keep getting worse after a few years, like every few years, that they won't do it because it's just not, it'll make things worse. So, so yeah, my eyes keep getting worse, but I don't think I could do it. Just like I've never been able to do contacts because I'm like, oh, I can't deal with touching my eyes like that. I really can't. Also, hey zombie, welcome. Yeah, we're like almost done the video, but you're here. At least you made some of the videos, so that's good.
also made one other really big discovery. When they were doing their re-excavation, they found another artifact that I didn't tell you about earlier. About 3 feet in front of the grave, archaeologists discovered 2 more masks made out of roe deer skulls and antlers. This fit with the rest of the context, so the discovery wasn't that surprising. Instead, the surprise came when the masks were dated, and they were found to be nearly 600 years younger than the burial itself. While it is completely possible that this is totally unrelated, their contextual and physical proximity to this grave strongly suggests a correlation. And if this is the case, the implication is that whoever this woman was, she was of such immense significance and importance that her grave was visited and revered for 600 years after her death. If we take a look at all of this research,
that's really fascinating. So like, I wonder too, if, like, because of the health issues and things that she had, if like she was having like crazy, hallucinations and stuff, and she was able to predict things. And that's thing, like, I can predict lots of stuff. I mean, I said this even on my Bashar video last time, right? It's like, I've gotten comments too, or someone, I don't know, I can't remember which psychic it was, but they're like, oh, they accurately predicted the US election. I'm like, yeah, the majority of people could have predicted that. You know, it's like, there's just things in human, like, nature that we can predict, and some people are good at seeing the patterns and able to predict them. So if she was having like visions and then she was able to like predict things really well, and she was able to sort of like give advice that turned out to happen, or turned out to work, she might have been just like really good at all that. And then with the hallucinations, and I bet she probably like fainted here and there and stuff, so that definitely would have sold the whole bit. But she would have believed what was going on, because I mean, she didn't know what was happening to her, right? So as were dark hair and green eyes, actually hazel, so they go from blue to green. Yeah, my eyes are hazel. They go from brown or like golden brown kind of. They turn like a golden green, but only when I'm like upset, like crying and stuff, like sad. That's when they, like, big emotions is when they turn green. So it's like, not, you won't ever see them. Unless I'm like crying and freaking out or something in front of someone. So and not just like light crying, like it's gotta be something where I'm like actually really upset. Yeah, not just like a little bit of like, shedding a tear. It's like, no, I'm like full on upset about something. That's when they turn green. Black Irish people, my ancestors too. Oh, is that like a thing? Oh, okay. Mine go from brown to golden green sometimes. Yeah, mine turn that. It's always when I'm like really, there's like big emotions going on, like big emotions going on. Yeah. No wonder my ChatGPT gets you and I confused. Yeah, I know. It keeps like putting my face on your face and stuff. It's so funny.
We can see that the story of the Bad Durrenberg burial has changed dramatically. Someone who was once framed as a male warrior leader of a lost Aryan master race was actually a dark-skinned, disabled medicine woman who was of such great importance that her memory persisted for 6 centuries. You literally just can't make this stuff up. It's kind of hilarious. Like, the Third Reich was wrong about pretty much everything, but man, add this one to the list, because I don't know what else they could have got wrong. I mean, I guess the blue eyes, maybe that's the only thing they got right about this burial. And it was a complete guess, so they don't even get credit for it. Okay, I know that was a lot of information, so take a deep breath, shake your hands out, stretch your neck. Like I talk about in all these videos, I love archaeology, but I really hate how often these discoveries are framed as just that, a discovery, where papers and statistics and serial numbers bury the stories of actual people. Because at the end of the day, whoever this woman was, she was exactly like us. While we only know the stories of our ancient brothers and sisters through their burials and deaths, I think it's even more important to tell the story of their life as well. And so, like I've done in so many of these videos, let's close the textbook and speak like humans about the woman herself. When I originally started working on this video, I really wanted to have a visual aid, something similar to the Hopewell earthwork maps that I used in the Great Circle and Octagon videos. I've been having a lot of fun with posters, and I think things like that are really cool and, a nice piece of art and a nice way to, teach people who are visual learners like myself. So right when I started doing research, me and my partner Z, who does all the merch design for this channel, sat down and we're like, okay, what do we want to make? And the obvious thing is, well, let's do like a reconstruction of the grave and we can show off some of like the artifacts and things like that. So she started designing and I started scripting. Then like a week or two into this research, both of us kind of started to hit this point where like we were weirdly attached to this woman. As I did more research and her story kind of started to unfold, I was like, this is kind of weird. Why would we depict her in a grave pit? Like, my whole thing is talking about remembering ancient people as actual people. So we were like, okay, well, why don't we do some sort of like reconstruction instead? So we started a whole different thing showing off the headdress and a bunch of artifacts. Then a few weeks into doing that, we kind of had another aha moment. We realized that every single reconstruction of this woman that does show her in life is so antiseptic. As you've been watching this video, I'm sure you've become familiar with these reconstructions already, and if you've just been playing this video in the background while you do your dishes or play video games, why don't you join us for a moment and have a look at them? They're all great representations, absolutely, but they're so, like, inhuman. It doesn't feel like you're looking at a real person. It feels like you're looking at, like, a mannequin. And on top of that, almost every single reconstruction we could
I don't know, like that shaman picture, that looks like a real person to me. Like that's how people would view her, as like something a little bit more mystical and like mystery behind her, right? So I like that shaman picture. I think that one is really good. Yeah. Old Mother Shipton was curious figure. She has been close on her predictions, but it's a case of if there's long enough period of time, the prediction will eventually fit. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like Bashar, who I just did a video on. Yeah, some of his predictions have come true, but he's been doing his shtick since like the 1970s. So like he's bound to have something come true, right? And that's saying, and if you're vague enough, you're bound to have a lot of stuff come true. Right? Like people like to throw Sylvia Brown. Oh, Sylvia Brown predicted COVID. If you look at that page, that chapter where she predicted COVID, she also predicted like 100 other diseases that never happened. And what she predicted COVID doesn't exactly fit. So it's like she didn't predict COVID. She just predicted it happened to be in the 100 diseases that she predicted. One of them was sort of close to COVID. So like people just like I don't know, they don't think critically about this stuff and realize that if you talk like very vague, you're bound to get predictions that come true. And then if you've also been doing this for 60 years, yeah, you're bound to have something come true. Look at The Simpsons. The amount of stuff that Matt Groening predicted, but he didn't predict, he just wrote it in the storyline, that came true. And it's just because like The Simpsons have been around forever and he was bound to get stuff accurate and guesses that he was going to make about the future, right? Humans are able to guess. We're able to do this. Like it's not something mystical though, and that's the problem, is people put a mystical label on it. And when I was younger and I was doing I was raised psychic and everything, I was told to take those instances as a psychic ability, that someone has a psychic ability and they don't know that they do. And that's why these things have come true. Or like, whatever, take it as like a psychic ability, but it's like, it's not though. It's just like, humans just do this, so yeah. What's your opinions on the Simpsons prediction shit? Yeah. Oh yeah, you just brought it up. Yeah, I just saw it. No, and that's what I think a lot. It's very interesting. It's very fascinating. But I think he's just good at like guessing of what's going to happen, and confirmation bias. Yeah, that's the other thing too. But yeah, no, Matt Groening is just like, he's just good at sort of looking at the world and be like, okay, what could be like a realistic, fun thing that could fit in the storyline, and then he throws it in there. And Idiocracy, I mean, he just took like what he was seeing happening around us, which this has been going on for a long time. I know we're living in Idiocracy right now, but like leading up to this, there was stuff going on. We all know there was stuff going on, right? He just happened to like be like, okay, this stuff is happening. This could be our future reality. So I'm going to make a movie about it. It's just like, yeah, I mean, you could have guessed at that too, because especially with him being in America, there's a lot of weird backward stuff that happens in certain parts of America, right? So yeah, it kind of makes sense that he's able to kind of guess at stuff, because he just is watching everything around him. So yeah, it's very interesting though, for sure.
Find had shockingly the same issue that a lot of the antiquated research had on this site. It completely leaves out the child. It feels like even in modern research, the child is sort of just viewed as like another artifact included in the grave. And even if there's less we can learn about the child than the woman, it feels like this should still be an important part of reconstructing who this woman was. So for like a month, we were like, I am sick of seeing this woman dead. I am sick of seeing this woman looking like a mannequin. And we were like, you know what? No, screw it. We're not doing anything technical this time. Screw a map, screw numbered objects. And you know what? Screw words altogether. We're going for sheer artistic whimsy. And so, ladies and gentlemen, after like 2 months of work, my partner's doing the work. I didn't do shit. I am proud to present to you, the Roe Deer woman in all her glory. Researching this video is honestly way more of an emotional experience than I thought it would be. I study and teach archaeology, so dealing with dead people is not something that's new to me. But there was something about this one that was just like so intimate. Like here you have a woman who has had her story told by everyone except herself. From the evil regimes of the past, to the decades of research since, to modern articles and educators like myself. As we've seen, her story has changed a lot in this time. And even today, while her story is much more honest and genuine, it's still interpreted through the politics of the time. And while I absolutely think that what was once a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Aryan, super soldier was actually a, dark-skinned disabled woman is just as hilarious and ironic as the next guy, I also think it's kind of unfair to try and interpret this woman's life through these modern labels that we have so much modern stigma towards. All of these different terms and phrases conjure up ideas of things we understand in the modern world today. But the thing that goes underemphasized in all of these discussions is that this woman lived almost 10,000 years ago. Even compared to other ancient people we have talked about on this channel, it is almost impossible to try and put ourselves in her shoes, to try and imagine a world before empires and agriculture and this. It's only natural for us to want to know more. But in cases like this, our window into this woman's life is so minute, a single pinprick, that we may never know very much. But what we can see through this pinprick of understanding tells us a lot about who this spectacular woman was in life. A tiny anomaly at the base of her skull that would go unnoticed to the layman tells a story of something that would have impacted nearly every day of her life. And while modern interpretations interpret it through modern labels as a deformity or a disability, it appears likely that in her life it was anything but. The richness of her grave, superseding nearly all of her contemporaries across Europe, suggests someone of immense importance. Ornamented in the remains of animals, she may have been seen as a bridge between the world of man and the world of nature. Someone capable of reaching into the unknown, a shaman, an oracle, a soothsayer. The items found alongside her suggest a life of a prolific artist. The wear on her awls, a merit of tens of thousands of stitches. And what seems to be an applicator caked in red ochre suggests that this was part of her palette as well. But just like the anomaly at the base of her skull, the evidence of her artistry shows two extremes. Just like how this pinched blood vessel may have given her both her spiritual significance and a serious handicap for much of her life, her artistic endeavors seem to have taken a toll as well. The wear patterns found on the back of her teeth, presumably related somehow to her craft, would have been debilitatingly painful and are believed by many to have ultimately led to her death. And when she died, she wasn't buried alone. For some reason that we will likely never understand, she was buried with an infant child. The child wasn't hers, but they were related, and while the fate of the child will also likely never be known, what we do know is that the two of them were laid to rest together. Here, I want you, the viewer or listener, to remember that those that buried this woman and this child were not creating an archaeological site. They were not making something for us to dig up later to be able to learn from. Those that stood around this pit as red ochre buried the two within were family members and friends, and potentially, given both of their young ages, parents. And as much as I wish I had the ability to reach across the bridge and see what the ceremony was like that day, we can only speculate. We will never know what words were said or what songs were sung. The only thing that we can know is the feeling of burying someone that you love. It's a tired cliche, but they say that you die twice. Once when you actually die, and then finally when you're remembered for the last time. Astonishingly, by this train of logic, the evidence shows that this woman and child remained alive for another 600 years after their death. For 600 years, 20 generations would pay homage at the final resting place of this incredible woman. They left offerings similar to those that she had been buried with, and God knows what else. And in a sort of bleak irony, we have no idea why. We can speculate about what she did in her life and what gave her her significance. But even after holding on for 600 years, even her memory died as well. And there they lay under the roots of forests like skyscrapers, under the feet of their descendants and the wheels of Roman chariots, under the felling axe and the plow and the crack of musket fire, only to somehow, against the odds, see the light of day again. After 9,000 years of peace and quiet, she was thrust back into the world of the living. But this resurrection has come at a cost. Like all of our ancient ancestors, she has no voice. She has no way to tell us if what we know about her is right or wrong. And thus, the responsibility of telling the story of the dead falls on the living. To talk about these ancient people not just as an artifact under a microscope, but as the people that they truly were. And perhaps if we can find it in ourselves to look with reverence and respect upon someone who lived 10,000 years ago, we will find a greater capacity to look upon those that we share the earth with today with the same reverence and respect. All of us who have ever lived on this big blue rock, and all of those that have yet to come, are really not so different from one another. Gifted, flawed, and infinitely complex. And so when you look into the eye sockets of the skull underneath a glass case at the Halle Museum of Prehistory, remember that what you are looking at is a mirror. Someone as complex and simple as you, and that when it really comes down to it, all of us will spend eternity the exact same way. That is starting to hurt my...
That was like a really good ending speech there. I had like I'd have a few comments and things he said, but I didn't want to interrupt him. But you know, my brain, I'm gonna forget stuff anyway. Yeah, like when he talked about researching her and stuff, and that happens too. Like when I was doing research for the Ashley Gillard video, and I was looking into a lot of the true crime stories that she covered as a psychic. Like I was looking in deep into the stories because I wanted to like tell the stories of the victims, because she certainly ruined a lot of their, you know, whatever, their memory with the stuff that she made up. So I wanted to kind of tell their stories. And like there's a lot of stuff we don't put in the videos because we researched for so much for so long, and then a lot of stuff we don't put in because just YouTube wouldn't like it. But it's like it goes into our brain when we're researching, and it can like actually get to you a little bit, right? So that's when like I wouldn't cover true crime on the regular basis like all the time, because of course it's going to get to you eventually, right? But yeah, no, like this is really fascinating too. With 600 years they revered this woman. She was probably very good at what she did. Like, I bet that she probably did something too. Maybe she helped save her people. She did something. The red ochre though makes sense, because if that was like a spiritual thing to help her, like it was red is life and death together. So that kind of makes sense. She would be buried with it. The child was related to her in some way. So it's possible that the baby died during like pregnancy or during birth. Like she may have even been like a midwife, because often they were in these positions too. So it's possible maybe that the baby died, you know, while she was helping it give birth or something, and maybe she died during the whole thing too. Maybe that was like a whole thing. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, you watched the video and you found it ironic that the child was an afterthought in the research from the archaeologists. Yeah, I was kind of curious, like what they were going to find about the child, but they really didn't. They really didn't find much. They didn't try. I mean, they probably consider a witch. Technically, witches didn't exist back then, so she would have been like a medicine woman, a shaman, a soothsayer, or something like that, right? Ate a lot of shrooms, maybe. I mean, a lot. That's thing. A lot of people back then, a lot of people who were these shamans and spiritual providers and teachers, they usually had some kind of plant-based something to help them hallucinate too. But she may have been able to hallucinate just by like moving her head a certain way. So like that may have been considered like a superpower or something, like something really mystical back then. You never know. 600 years after she passed, yeah. The Oracle of Delphi breathed in Lorelei leaves. Well, the Oracle of Delphi, actually, there's a lot of stuff that's been contested. So a lot of it has been sort of proven that they weren't breathing in like anything toxic or anything like that. There's a lot of recent research that has been done on the Oracle of Delphi. I personally feel like that they were breathing in some kind of hallucinogenic, but I don't know. There's a lot of stuff saying that that's not the case, and it's pretty good research because I looked at it when I did my Oracle of Delphi video as well. So it's hard to say, but it's definitely the same idea though, you know? Totally off topic. Happy about Fox buying Roku. Huge step for online YouTube creators. Fox bought it. God, I don't know about Fox then. It's probably why there's stuff being pushed away in the algorithm, like stuff not being able to be. There's certain creators that are being given more algorithmic bonuses than others. So sadly, well, it's nice that they do put YouTubers up. It's probably explaining some of the stuff that apparently has been going on. That's not great. So I would like to be not on this timeline anymore. Can we be done with this timeline? I'm so tired of all the nonsense. I swear to God.
But and my brain. Wow, well, there you go. Classic end to a Milo Rossi video. Just got a really, you know, wax philosophical for like 10 minutes. If you, beautiful viewer, are a fan of this poster, they are available now at miniminutman.com. My partner is the wonderful artiste behind this, so make sure to go give them a follow. And as you probably already know, I no longer accept sponsorships on this channel because I now have the ability to say no to them, which I'm very grateful for. But since we still have to make our bag, I'd much rather do it by making beautiful artwork that you can decorate your home with and have a beautiful story to tell with it as well. A portion of each sale goes directly to the artist, and the rest goes back into the channel and helps keep us corporate sponsorship free. On behalf of myself and the 8-person creative team who helps make all of these videos possible, we are very grateful for all purchases. Link to that is in the description of this video. If you enjoyed me keeping you company while you, played Fortnite or folded your laundry, why let the binge stop here? I have plenty more videos like this that are sure to, drown out the silence in the back.
Yeah, go check out the rest of his stuff.
I do the exact same thing. And if you did enjoy this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you'd leave an interaction. Things like likes, comments, and shares help the video do better in the algorithm, which helps us compete against all the really stupid shit that saturates YouTube. Like I always say, leaving an interaction is like tipping the bellhop or thanking the bus driver if we're sticking with our Fortnite-related references. It doesn't cost you a cent and helps us continue getting the ad revenue we need to produce these videos for free for you on YouTube. I'd also like to give a massive thank you to my editorial team. I may be the one you see in front of the camera, but each one of these videos is the work of 8 different people who spend hundreds of hours making the finished product that you see before you. So please make sure to give them a big round of applause as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching this video. As always, my name is Milo Rossi, and remember to stay curious, stay inquisitive, and get out there and go lay some pipe. Oh, and before you go, remember, tour stuff. Link to that in the description. Get your tickets while they're hot. They'll go fast. See you there. Wow, it got really hot in here, y'all. Really hot. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. Getting so hot. What does that say? Dead center? Dead center. Why is it called dead center? Why is it called dead center? What does that have to do with being dead? Dead center. Dead center origin. Mechanical engineering and woodworking. Oh, dead meaning, the exact. Gotcha. Probably could have figured that out. I don't know. Okay, I have nothing else funny to say. It's like 80 degrees in here now. And you guys can just watch the outtakes from the rest of the video. See ya. Firstly, fuck, I missed my own finger. Jesus, I should do that test of, what is it? Like, not dexterity. What is this called again? Coordination? Holy shit, I think I phased right through my own arm. Herberer would dedicate limitless resource. What the fuck is that red squirrel? Yo, shut up, I'm filming. Yo, shut the fuck up. God damn it. Oh, I'm gonna move to the country. It's gonna be nice and peaceful and quiet. No, my neighbor's a fucking chipmunk. Jesus, I guess it's better than the groundhog. Fucking chipmunk doesn't eat my lettuce. Little shit. Close that window. Not that that does anything. There's a giant fucking hole in the roof. Okay, if you can hear the chipmunk, I'm sorry. So lacking, a religion or something to justify this ethnic... God, I hate that I can't say these things. What the fuck? Conspiracy theorists always complaining about censorship, and now I'm like, yeah, I get it now. I'm one of you.
That's so funny. But yeah, definitely go check him out. I threw his channel in there. He's really funny. Yeah, he's very entertaining and educational. Yeah. And that's thing, like, he actually has a degree in this stuff, so you can watch him and know that, he's done his research on it, right? So he's always pretty good about that kind of stuff. But definitely go check him out. That was a good video. And yeah, like, it is interesting because that's sort of where everything did come from. Like, it was people who had hallucinations and people that were probably more creative and came up with interesting stories and were good storytellers, right? But yeah, they were usually like, oftentimes people were like smoking something, taking like the smoke of something, or they were like drinking a plant or something. It's very common. It still happens in some places still today, but yeah, it definitely happened back then too. So I also like that he gives credit to his editors, the other people involved in making these videos. Yeah, he's always pretty good about that stuff. I know I often forget to like call out people too in my videos, because I have some people that kind of help with research on some videos as well. But then also like some of the videos that they help me research, I'm like, I don't know, man, some of their fans are like really mean and vindictive. So just like, I don't know if it's safe to put your name out there too. Oh, thank you, Ken, for 20 jewels. And it says, what does it say? I missed it. Hold on. Says flow state. Okay, wait, how many jewels was that? So that popped, 200. Okay, so I have a feeling that probably it'll pop up and stay up on my screen if it's like 100 or more, because anything like that's been a few hasn't stayed up on the screen. So I'd rather drink it. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't do some of these, although I mean I have done some of the things, but I wouldn't touch ayahuasca. That people are crazy for doing that. I just can't. But yeah, thank you as always, Ken, for your support, and everyone else for your support. It does mean a lot because, you know, I'm trying my best to get my life in order at this point. So, because of course the stupid chair broke, then Windows like got corrupted on me, so I lost like 4 videos. Like I have the recording files, I just lost all the editing, which is the more time consuming part. And yeah, and then it's like getting my mom in and then dealing with all the other crap too. It's just been a crap storm. So speaking of drinks, I'm getting a mushroom based drinking chocolate next week. Like mushrooms to like, you know, drugs, or like mushroom, like you like the taste of mushrooms, because it sounds gross. Well, even with like the mushrooms, I couldn't stand them. There are people I knew that drink tea of it. And I'm like, how can you stand it? I just down them. So you know what I would do is I go get some Lay's salt and vinegar chips, okay, because they're very strong. And then I have a chip. I put the chip down. Then I put a piece of the mushroom in. I put another chip. I made a sandwich with them. And then I would like eat it. And then I would chase it with some more salt and vinegar chips, because it's the only way that I could like get through the taste. I used to do it a lot when I was younger, and then I had like one bad trip, and ever since then I haven't been able to do it. But yeah. Mud water, the chocolate water, maybe something like that. But yeah, thank you, Sage. Yeah, I'll on Sunday I just have like a clip or something coming out this week, nothing huge. Sunday I have the rest of the interview that I did with Susan, where we talked for about an hour about psychics, so that's coming on Sunday. The ayahuasca mud water, yeah, I guess I could see that. So that is coming out Sunday, and I'm gonna be trying to work on. Oh yeah, I'm meeting with Luna tomorrow. We're going to record some stuff. There is a sort of psychic video that I've been kind of working on. It's like a really different angle though with stuff. There's a lot of things I'm kind of working on, but I really do need to get that video done. It's the angle of it that I'm working on with it is I'm covering a woman who she seems to be, you know, I'm not a doctor. She seems to be addicted to social media and addicted to being a psychic on social media. It's 2 different things, and it is an addiction I've seen plenty of times growing up. People who are psychic, they might think that they are too, like they might truly think they are, but they get addicted to the power that they have over people. They get addicted to the attention that they get from people. And this woman that I'm going to cover is pretty much that. And that's what's going on with her. And then she honestly does seem to be addicted to her devices, or at least social media itself, and she can't seem to stay away from it. And she kind of has like a freak out when people try to pull her off of it. So it's a whole thing. I have actually been talking with her family, who are concerned about her. And, you know, it's been a while that I've been trying to get this freaking video done, but a bunch of stuff happened like in January with the whole Frankie and Rob and all the other stupid crap. And that kind of set us back. It slowed down the plans and the productions on a lot of stuff. And then other stuff happened after that too. So it's just been like, yeah, again, shitstorm. I know other people have it worse than me too. I've just been like, ugh. I'm waiting for it to pass. Usually in my life, what ends up happening, all throughout my life, even I had a friend who was like, why does everything happen to you all at once? This is what happens. Everything happens to me all at once. And it's just like constant, and then it like stops for like a year or two, and it'll just be like chill. So I'm like, I'm just waiting for this to like stop so that I can like get back on schedule with everything. So yeah. So we did a stream last week. We did a stream this week. I may end up doing like a stream every other week. I think what I'll probably do is we'll do like a guaranteed every other week on Tuesday, because Joan does one every other week. So I was thinking maybe I'll do the off weeks of when Joan's going. And then maybe it'll be like, okay, the weeks where I feel okay and I'm going to do some more streams, maybe we'll do like Thursday or Friday or Saturday, sort of like a random, we'll pick a day based, because there's so many people that stream all at once here now. It's like, it's so difficult to plan. So I'll do something like that. The other thing that I'm debating doing, which I don't know, it might not be a good idea, but I'm debating doing like just kind of like, I have my vlog channel and I haven't touched it really because I always forget to record things when I go and do places or do things at places. But I was debating even doing like videos on that channel where I just kind of talk about stuff, my thoughts on the news and things like that. But that's the thing, I mean, it could end up being like a little too political and then people get upset about it. But then it's kind of like, I kind of want to talk about this stuff too, but I'm like, I don't know. So I may end up doing that. I'm trying to decide right now. Sent me a PM on Discord. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. But yeah, so I'm going to end the stream here. We've been going for almost 3 hours. Oof, it's a long one. And we'll see, maybe next week I'll stream. I think I might end up doing like not next week and we'll do the week after. Just because I'm thinking I already have a video ready for Sunday and I think it's better I stream on weeks when I have a video already kind of ready to drop. And that might be sort of the plan. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But thank you guys for coming in and checking everything out. Thank you guys for watching Milo with me, and definitely go check him out as well. He's got tons of other videos. I know it's stuff that you guys are going to enjoy. Like it's stuff on aliens and like all these different things, conspiracy theories, history. You guys, like most people in the paranormal, love history, pseudoscience, pipeline. Like he's got a lot of fun videos. So I really recommend you check him out. He's really cool, a lot of fun. And he does go on site for a lot of stuff too. So yeah. But thank you guys for coming in, and yeah, and good luck, Kat, on Thursday with your eye surgery. Yes. I've heard about online addiction from someone. Yeah, there's a whole program in China, I believe it is, where they try to get people through internet addiction. And I'm going to reference that. I remember watching a documentary a very long time ago. I got to try to find it. That's going to be a tough part, but all right. Have a good night, guys. Yeah, watch Milo a long time. Yeah, I've been watching him for a bit too, but definitely recommend him. All right. I'll talk to you guys later, and thank you guys for hanging out with me. All right. Have a good night. Bye.